Saturday night. And I have yet to have UAB fans say, boy, I hated to see it. I think they appreciated it as well. I don't know that that matters to you, but I just wonder if we can appreciate what a job like a college football coach in a pressurized situation is like.
Well, I think there's two ways of approaching this. Yes, it's a reality of the business. It's a reality of football. There's a lot of conflict in football. There's a lot of emotion in football. I am a very, very emotional and passionate person. As I've gotten older, I've learned to control that better. Obviously, not good enough. I don't think what I did was right. I went in Sunday and apologized and asked for the coach's forgiveness in front of my whole staff. I addressed it with my team. I don't want to be somebody that loses control. No matter how egregious the mistake is, I think there's a better way to handle it than I handled it. Saying all that, it's part of who I am. Like, what I'm not going to be is I'm not going to try to change and be less passionate. What I am going to try to do, as I've done for the last 30 something years, is try to be wiser and make better decisions in the midst of my passion. So I don't care what Nick does. It makes no difference to me in my life. I don't care how any other coach does it. I know I want to be better. I want to be a better version of myself, and that's what I'm working on doing this week.
My coach changed my life in high school, though. He was passionate like you, and he was a yeller. Now, he would love on me afterwards, and he would coach me up, but he brought out the best in me, and the way it worked for me was getting yelled at when I didn't do what I was supposed to do. That worked for me, and some players it didn't work for, but that worked for me. I would imagine each player you have to coach a little different.
Well, I think yelling is different than what happened.
Yeah.
I have no problem with yelling. I don't care when people yell at me.
Me either.
Doesn't bother me one bit. I think what happened in that situation was I was extremely yelling at the entire staff over the phones. It was directed at a singular coach with my body posture, and it had the appearance of me embarrassing and disrespecting a singular coach, which I don't want to do. I respect these guys too much. I love them too much that I ever want to put them in that situation. So again, it's a fine line. Like, I have no problem with yelling and screaming. Sometimes it's the only way people hear you.
Right.
But I thought, when I looked back on it, again, in the moment, I was just trying to win a football game. When I looked back on it, I was like, man, I regret that, because it had the appearance of it was one person's fault, and it was not one person's fault. And it also had the appearance that I was disrespecting them. And maybe I did to a certain degree, and that's why I asked for his forgiveness. So that's what I want to do a better job at. You're going to still see me yell. Heck yeah, you're going to see me. I might yell at you three knuckleheads.
Yes, that's what we need.
We've earned every bit of it.
That's what we need right there. Yes.
But I think there's a difference between what happened and just the typical butt chewing that sometimes happens in football.
Yeah. You left here with some of our gear. If you yell at us, just be wearing the gear. It's good for the video that we send out later. Okay.
It's actually right over there. And I'll start wearing it for the show. I don't think about it, but it's literally sitting right over there by these fancy shoes.
Yes, it's quite all right.
I pointed out at your news conference this week, you did have a state logo with the UAB logo. It looks a lot like our T-shirt.
That shirt you walked away with. I noticed.
It's like you tweaked it a little bit. So good job by you there. Good job.
just a little.
Good job by you.
Minors. Yeah. Coach, good luck. South Florida Saturday, 3 o'clock ESPN2. We always appreciate the time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, Trent Dilfer on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Developing news on a big player that could impact the national championship race after I tell you our friends at Legacy, the holiday season's upon us, and Legacy Credit Union has the Legacy Credit Card for you. Just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protections against fraud compared to debit cards directly linked to your bank account. The Legacy Card, as low as 8.90% APR. Get more details, LegacyCreditUnion.com/join, LegacyCreditUnion.com/join.
North Carolina is still undefeated, and they have just found out they are getting Tez Walker eligible.
Wow, good for Tez.
The NCAA says they have gotten new information from UNC, which is a bunch of horse you-know-what.
That's right.
And based on that new information has made him eligible. So Drake May just got a stud receiver back.
Well, I mean, I'm happy for Tez.
I am too. It was a joke, man.
Yep. And
by the way, upset alert with Syracuse.
By the way, here comes North Carolina. As you said, unbeaten.
Yep.
Still got to play Florida State somewhere. Still got to play
Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, the ACC, Will of Destiny. Here we go.
It's a fun little conference right now. It is.
Here we go. All right, that's the show today. Hot Ones Challenge 1.0, the original, coming up in our overtime at the top of the hour. All the content over at Disrupt the Media. Roll Tide Pods is where you're about to get the Talk of Champions. Tyler Watts and I are about to do that over there. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Rob says, happy Friday, everybody, from Memphis. Hello, Rob, to you in Memphis, Tennessee, wherever you're watching us today, including, what was the old Christmas in Dixie? In
Fort Payne,
Alabama. Good morning to you. Robert, happy Friday from Daphne, Alabama. Everyone watching over the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, we're ready to go today. Jam-packed show, as Fridays always are. We got the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. It is up and rolling right now. NextRoundLive.com, NextRoundLive.com. Over 100 winners last week. Lunsford has that for you. NextRoundLive.com. Look for the Buffalo Wild Wings logo. We'll get into that in the next segment. We've got 4 downs. We've got Todd Ferman. We've got our Monday headlines today at 10:25. Buster Olney is here to talk about baseball coming up at 11 Central. Rockstar's Playhouse today, where you'll get a little sampling of your team's socks.
We might have a live one today.
Your team socks or a live Playhouse?
Omaha!
Yeah.
Omaha! A little audible.
Still working.
Oh, I like live.
Possible live.
I like live.
If not, your team socks.
Are you saying a live your team socks or a live Playhouse?
Something totally different.
Okay.
Do you think Gary the Gator could be calling for Billy Napier's job?
I mean, we are into October and we've not heard from Gary.
Well, I thought we were saving that for rivalry weekend.
I don't know. I was just
Why
throwing
wouldn't
it
we
out there.
save
I got
it
no
for
idea.
rivalry weekend? That's all at the end of the year.
For the Gators rivalry weekend with Georgia.
Oh.
Where Gary the Gator made his debut. It's the 25th anniversary.
Victory Friday.
Victory Friday. Yeah. By the way, Brown.
It is look ahead Friday.
Hey, that is fresh. I smell it. I smell the new.
I know, but he just yesterday.
You've never worn that before.
I have two.
Yeah. I would tell you that yesterday, though, he lectured us. He only wears it on
the new.
He only wears it on Monday after wins.
No, that is not true. I said I wear it on Fridays and on Victory Monday.
Hey, I guarantee if you looked at his search engine after 70 points against Denver, NFLshop.com.
I'll take that.
Incorrect.
I'll take that.
Incorrect on all those things. One thing.
I haven't bought new Buck stuff in forever since the Super Bowl. I need some stuff.
Yeah.
Boy, you're calling me a front runner? You haven't bought anything since the Super Bowl?
No, I'm not. I'm not calling you a front runner. I'm just
Browns and his Dolphins. I thought it was only on Monday.
That's so done away.
You had a doctorate. You had a declaration of when you wear it yesterday, all laid out. I was like,
Victory Monday and on Fridays.
On Fridays and Victory Mondays.
That's right.
All right. I look forward to
Daniel Jones on Sunday. Let's get it.
Looking forward to seeing
And
it.
if you don't think it can happen, I played the under in the Bears Commanders last night, and the Bears averaging 18 points per game scored 40. Justin Fields, MVP favorite now.
Here we go. Last night on the show, Forrester, can you?
You were in the spirit world.
Where was I?
You're in the spirit world.
Hey, and by the way, that's also for RTD4, who said I trashed Alabama last night by picking them in a stake bet to win at College Station. My spirit world, I'm on a heater. I'm on a hot streak, and it started with this last night when we were talking about DJ Moore and the Bears going over. Cut 9, Rockstar. It's you, not Forrester. Cut 9, Rockstar.
Well, what a setup, Dunaway.
Cut 9.
Are we
Rockstar.
playing Dunaway cuts now?
Yeah. Here we go.
Here's Jim
Last
Dunaway.
night, if you missed this on our Bud Light game night last night, that's a bucket hat, yes.
It's a bucket hat.
Yeah, Jennifer this morning was like, hey, I watched some of the show last night. Why was Jim wearing a bucket hat?
Yeah, it's a Birmingham squad.
Yeah, we told Anna Kate to put hers up when she graduated high school.
Just what I told her. She said, do they not make baseball hats at the Birmingham Squadron?
Yeah, here we go. Braves
and a
fans,
natty light.
Braves fans and Alabama fans, this is why you ride with me this weekend, because I'm on a heater. Hit it.
I think there'll be more points scored in this game than the experts think, because the Commanders are known for their defense and not great offensive play. and the Bears just suck, and you look at this game, you're like, why do I want to watch it? And usually when you look at those games, you're like, it's a sucky game. It's going to play under. I think it plays over. I've got DJ Moore in my fantasy football league, who I think beat your fantasy football team last week.
Yeah, it was
I didn't play him last week. I did play him last week. He scored 27.
Of course.
So I beat you with DJ Moore on the bench.
Okay.
So did you play him this week?
Yes.
Talk to me in the finals. Talk to me in the finals.
About to tear a hammy. Yeah.
Thank you.
I just gave a little hint to where we're going there.
Do you guys want to hear the total for that game?
Yeah. 44 and a half. It's got to be low. 45?
45.
It's got to be low.
Yeah.
Commanders -6.
I mean, that's higher than I would have thought, honestly. 45.
Well, I mean, you go back to
Twice did I give you.
Me playing Lee Corso last night is what that was.
I like it when you do your Lee Corso.
Hey, Justin Fields, though, you're bringing him up, is now tied for the lead in the league for touchdown passes. He's got 11.
Well, he had 8 in the last 2 games.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look, he has found – this is one of the reasons they went out and got DJ Moore, and now they're utilizing him. And when you start to look at this schedule, I mean, the Bears aren't going to make the postseason. We know that. Although the NFC North still seems like it's a little open. We don't really trust Detroit, do we? No. I think they're improved. But Chicago can win some games. I mean, this is a really, really good combination. And I heard some guys talking this morning. Chicago is still playing for Caleb Williams. Like, this is all about making Justin Fields look good where you can dangle him out at the end of the year.
Wow.
And if I'm Justin Fields, I'm like, what the hell? Like,
I know.
Yeah, I'm young. I've still got some talent. And I thought he's looked really good over the last couple of games, and he's got a weapon now in DJ Moore. Now, DJ Moore's not going to do this week in, week out because they will start to really, really focus on shutting down DJ Moore. So Khalil Herbert's going to have to be a bigger factor. Cole Kmet, those kind of guys. But hey, man, that was pretty amazing last night. I never saw a 40 spot coming on the road from Chicago.
40-20. Chicago almost went over by themselves, 40-20, in what ended up being an entertaining NFL football game. But DJ Moore with 230 and 3 touchdowns in that game last night. He's the guy that basically.
He's the reason Bryce Young is struggling.
He's the reason Bryce Young is with the Panthers first. He's part of the trade that got Carolina the pick.
But he's the reason he's struggling because he doesn't have a receiver.
Doesn't have DJ Moore to throw to. Right?
He needs a couple of tackles too.
No, I mean he could use a lot of things.
And LT said the most amazing stat, because I don't know how many of you paid attention, but I don't put last year's losing streaks usually into this year's losing streaks. I don't connect the dots.
Yeah.
And LT brought up they were on a 14-game losing streak.
Yeah, the last time they won was almost a year ago. It was October 24th of 2022, and you just don't see this in the NFL. We talk about your 72 Dolphins, the last team to go undefeated. It is that hard to go defeated, and that's almost an entire season, 14 consecutive games. So if you're a Bears fan, I think there is something to this too. I think it's weird that arguably the best player in your history, and you can throw Walter Payton in the mix, Mike Singletary, but Dick Butkus passing away yesterday, and the Bears to go out and completely dominate.
Yep.
There's something to that kind of stuff.
It's a God thing, man. Look at that. Dick Butkus passing away yesterday, the monster of the Midway there. In my grandfather and dad's eyes, the meanest, baddest man ever to play in the National Football League. I think he used to practice hitting and blocking on wrecked cars. He would get them from the dumps, and he would just put his pads on and run into them.
Well, you brought this up last night, and I was watching more highlights this morning. Probably 3 out of 4 plays, he would have been flagged for personal fouls.
If targeting existed.
Fined, suspended.
I've never seen the end of a game.
Some of the toughest guys I knew in high school growing up, their dogs were named Butkus.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of Butkuses. You get a lot of Sabans running around on the dog front now, but a lot of Butkuses back in the day.
Am I wrong? And check this for me, Lunsford or Rockstar. Wasn't he also an actor? Didn't he play in
he was in
The Longest Yard, the original one?
Yeah, but he was in a TV series too.
So Alex Karras was more of the actor.
Yeah.
But Dick Butkus, yes.
He did a little bit of it.
Yeah, I think he was in – was he in Mr. Belvedere?
I think it was Mr. Belvedere. I was trying to remember the TV
it was
series.
Either him or Alex Karras. I don't know. I get the two confused on some of the roles they did. But Alex Karras did more film and TV work than Butkus. But Butkus was pretty prevalent in that.
Who was thought to be the most hard-nosed player of your generation?
Oh, probably Mike Singletary or Ray Lewis, depending on how we're doing generations.
I'm a little older than you, so it's Jack Tatum for me. Back in the 70s, Jack Tatum. he'd blow you up in the secondary back when you could hit receivers when they were trying to catch the ball.
Yeah. Because I remember
or Jack Lambert, right?
Yeah, Jack Lambert was pretty bad too.
Yeah. Singletary was in my generation, but I remember growing up too. Steve Atwater for the Broncos and Ronnie Lott. It's two safeties, interestingly, but both those guys.
I thought John Lynch
feared over the middle.
I mean, you see him drinking cocktails in a box now with a suit on.
Yeah,
but boy, he was a guy that get after you. I'll never forget this about Mike Singletary. You remember Faces in the Crowd? Sports Illustrated would do. High school and college players. I remember seeing Singletary when he was at Baylor, and nobody talked about Baylor football, and they did a little piece on him on Faces in the Crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And he had like 21 tackles in a game, and he was leading the nation at one point.
Yeah.
And then he goes from Baylor to doing what he did in the NFL. But that would definitely be one of the guys. What was it called? It was called Crash Course, right?
Oh, the thing Sports Illustrated sent out?
Yeah, what was it called? Crunch Course.
Crunch Course, something like that. Yeah, all the hard hits. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was fantastic.
It was basically a 45-minute video of stuff that would get you fined today.
You got to keep going lower.
Hey, and there was no concussion protocol.
No, none whatsoever.
You can look through your ear hole, and they'd focus it back up and say, get out there.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Greatest American Hero.
Magnum P.I. How about Magnum P.I.?
Oh, how about Fantasy Island?
Yep. Wonder Woman. He was in Wonder Woman.
Oh, Superdome the movie?
Rockford Files.
One of my favorites is Mother, Jugs, and Speed.
Yeah, hey, what is that about?
Rockstar, he said yes to everything, I think.
Rodeo.
1976.
I think we figured it out.
Yeah.
There's the Jugs.
Yeah.
Raquel Welch.
Yeah. Raquel
Harvey
Welch.
Keitel.
Yep.
Bill Cosby. I mean, I bet that is a laugher, Rockstar. You think?
Hey, what's Bill Cosby got in that drink?
You think Bill?
What are you drinking?
You think he eyeballed Raquel Welch at all during that thing?
Hey, she needs to put a hand over her drink.
The F&B Ambulance Company. What is
They're
that?
looking for a few good men, Jimmy D, but they'll take anybody they can get.
Pick me.
Hilarity ensues.
Oh, the great Dick Butkus.
Hey, I'm looking for something to do tonight, so I'm gonna put that in the
Mother
the
Jugs
queue.
and Speed.
That's the kind of stuff that used to show double features at the old Alabama drive-ins down just south of Alabaster that my parents would take me to and put me in the front seat, and they'd get in the back seat.
So it was.
They came along came my little brother.
I think it was Anthony Quinn that said. No, it was Marlon Brando said Raquel Welch had the worst breath ever.
Oh.
Raquel Welch?
Yeah, that's a horrible thing to say about somebody.
Hey, our friends at
britches.
Our friends at Redmont get us going today as we'll jump into some college football conversation and much more of that in the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 in the next segment. Tell us about our friends at Redmont.
Hey, the weekend is here. Look, if you're going to pop that, I was talking to our friends in Austin yesterday, Chip and Zay, and I said, I can't wait for the Red River Shootout tomorrow. I'm going to get me some Redmont vodka out, and I'm going to make a Bloody Mary. I have not had a Bloody Mary the entire fall. Little nip in the air. Can't wait to get one of those. 22 states is available in, locally owned and operated. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind it. Ask for it by name. It's gluten-free. It's 8 times distilled. It is Redmont vodka.
All right, Nick Saban last night was a little coy when talking about Jalen Milroe. Wouldn't really.
Is that Rockstar's best friend?
It is.
Rockstar's best friend coming up.
Tell me he was doing this.
We'll get to James Spann in a second. But first off, on Jalen Milroe, the big story Alabama fans are concerned about. It was James Spann, who was on Hey Coach last night as the media guest, asked Nick Saban about the rumors of Jalen Milroe's injury. And Saban Brown was, I don't read it, I don't hear that stuff, blah, 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 blah. But according to Mike Rodak, AL.com, didn't really answer the question, leaving it just hanging out there, floating around in the universe that maybe there is something wrong with Jalen Milroe going into this game. But everybody we continue to talk to says Milroe is perfectly fine.
My guy said that he has had according to coaches, has had a great week of practice. Now, I heard from somebody last night that said, get on A&M. Jalen's not playing.
Yeah.
But then I talked to my guy after the fact, and he said, not true.
Yeah.
So I believe he's going to play. I think he's healthy.
I think Saban's playing games
You
here.
think this is Nick Saban mind games with Jimbo is what's going on here?
I do. I think it's out there. He didn't start it, but I think it's out there, and Nick's not going to put the fire out because he knows his guy's good and healthy. Going back to play in front of his home crowd. He's from Katy, Texas, and he's going back to College Station. I think Nick Saban feels good about his QB going into this game.
Well, then why would he be playing mind games with Jimbo?
I don't read this stuff. I'm not going to put out the fire that people are out there are saying he's hurt. If y'all want to think he's hurt, y'all think all you want to think. Maybe they'll prepare for Ty Simpson too. A little passing passing quarterback too. Maybe they're having to prepare for other things.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I just think this is a bad matchup this weekend. Max Johnson could completely flip the script if he turns it over 3 times like he did last week. Katy, Texas, bigger or smaller than Birmingham?
Oh, much smaller.
Oh, I don't know. Katy, Texas is a suburb.
I bet it's 400,000.
Actual residents in city limits. I think Katy, Texas is going to be the same size as Birmingham. Both of them are going to be over 200,000.
Oh, you think that, huh?
Yep.
Here we go. Katy, Texas population is 24,000.
Yes.
Right there, the size of Homewood.
Yeah. Much smaller.
So not even the size of Alabaster.
I like Dunwell. Oh, no.
I was right there with you, though, because I've heard a lot about Katy, Texas, and
Katy, Texas jumped on my map, 5th grade. Christy Smith, who I really liked a lot, moved from Birmingham to Katy, Texas.
She's a new one. I've never heard of Christy.
Left Thompson Elementary. Yeah,
was she one of the original Christies with an I?
She did go Christy with an eye. She was just a nice girl. She always tried to help me get Rebel Fox's eye. And,
you guys in the Mud Puddle don't have Y's, right, in girls' names? We're going to take the Y out. We're going to try to be exotic. And we're going to put an I in there.
Put an I in there.
And they all put out in 6th grade, right?
Yeah, maybe IE. No, LT. We had good girls in Alabaster. The other part last night of James Spann's conversation with Nick Saban right after LT tells us about our friends at Hemp Hill, who brings you the lock every day. Great folks there.
Yeah, our friends at Hemp Hill right now. Great special for the month of October. Trusted name, Birmingham's trusted since 1954. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Right now, 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free Wi-Fi upgrade and 10-year labor on any system replacement, plus $69 fall tune-up. 229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Okay, James Spann. In Forster, have you ever seen him not in a tie and suspenders? You used to work with James Spann at ABC 3340.
No, that's what you get with Spann.
One time, I played in a what was the 3-on-3 tournaments?
It was
Hoop It Up.
Hoop It Up. Yep. Yeah, we played in a Hoop It Up at Hunter Street Baptist, and this is probably 15 years ago. And James came out and spoke to everybody involved in the event. Really, I mean, a great kind of a sermon that he gave. Talked about his father, struggle with alcoholism and stuff. But he had just a golf shirt on.
Yeah, I ran into him in the grocery store. It's been a little bit back, and he was just in shorts, T-shirt, and ball cap, and he did kind of look funny in that.
Why do you not have your uniform on?
That's right.
I bet he has to. I bet he gets hit up in Birmingham more than any other person.
Oh, 100%. He has been, listen, there's a thing called Q rating that moves the needle when it comes to advertising and or viewerships in local news or anything. This guy has been number 1 in the Q rating for decades.
Oh, and he's kind of Morgan Freeman, how he's had the same look. I remember being at Edgewood Elementary School at Homewood, and this dude was doing weather.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was I doing sports then?
Probably.
No.
Okay. Close.
You didn't hit that till I was in high school.
Yeah, close. Okay, here we go. James Spann with Nick Saban last night, head coach from the Crimson Tide Sports Network and ABC 3340.
I asked my social media followers some questions, and almost 90% of them were not for you, but for you.
From Miss Terry.
Miss Terry, right. They want to know more about this whole situation where you said that you were basically under an order to kick up the intensity a bit. The people would like to hear a little more of the backstory here. How did this happen? When did it happen? What exactly was said here?
Well, it was said. But anyway, I think maybe as I've gotten a little older, I'm probably not as volatile as I used to be. I think many people have heard me say before, one of my prayers in church on Sunday is don't get angry and control your temper and don't let your emotions make you do something that you'll be sorry for. So I've been a little laid back, and at times it's been hard to bite my tongue relative to some of the things that we've done to shoot our foot. And not just shoot our foot, but shoot our foot off. So I got a lecture about why don't you show a little more intensity on the sidelines when the players aren't doing exactly what they should do. So, when we snapped the ball, when we didn't have a snap count on 3rd down and hit the guy in the leg, and we'd taken a couple sacks, and I had about enough of it. I thought that was a good time.
I'll tell you this, it's not working. He needs to go back to the old him. And here's what happens. And I agree, like, it's awesome. You can pray about this kind of stuff. And I don't want to make this about me, but the older I get, I want to be more passive. I don't like confrontations and that kind of stuff. But people start to walk on you. And it's just fact. And I think opponents aren't nearly afraid of Nick Saban like they used to be. He needs to get back to his old self.
Alabama fans ate it up, too. They absolutely love seeing him chew.
Get back to the old self. That is you through and through.
Yep.
It is nice to change a little bit, but sometimes you got to be the core you.
Hey, and
spit that venom.
And the players knew what they were getting into when they chose to come play for you. It's part of they want from you what Tua and Jalen and Bryce and Mac and anyone else who has played at Alabama, all the way back to Darius and Mark Ingram and Julio Jones. They want what you gave them. They want that from you while they're at Alabama too. They want you to chew their ass and make them better, so that when they leave, they can go be the pros that you made all these other people be, or the person you've made all these other people be.
I personally believe, as a man, you want to be more like that the older you get.
You want to be more like what?
Passive.
Yeah, not confrontational.
Don't get as revved up, yeah.
But I think a lot of this is because of the transfer portal. And you can't ride people's asses anymore. And to a man, I would say anybody listening that's got a kid that is getting recruited right now, you want them to play for an old school Nick Saban because they're going to make you a better man. You need structure in your life.
Right. The old school Woody Hayeses and Bear Bryants and Bo Schembechlers, though, could not win as much as they did in this world.
Well, and that's sad.
Without changing.
It's sad, though.
Yeah.
It really is.
This world of
you're
college
going to yell
football,
at me? I'm going to transfer.
No, but I mean, that's what they would have faced. This world of college football, those guys could not have won the level at which they did and still operate the way they did.
Yeah. Here's what I would tell my kid, though. Look, he's going to chew your ass, but you know what? You're going to win a national championship, and you're going to play on Sundays.
You're going to make millions of
and you're
dollars.
going to be a better man in 3 years.
Hey, speaking of millions of dollars, Trent Dilfer at home this week for UAB against a really well-coached USF team. Should be a great football game. And Trent wants to remind you a little bit about football and finances as well.
Just as a solid defense protects the goal line, a well-balanced budget safeguards your financial future.
That's right, Coach. And our friends at Legacy, happy for the weekend and happy to help you build a solid defense when it comes to your financials. It's a challenging thing, but with our friends at Legacy, they can prepare you for any setbacks that life throws at you, from building a budget that fits your needs to finding the personal loan that's just right for you. Legacy does it all. Visit LegacyCreditUnion.com and become a member in minutes. LegacyCreditUnion.com, the official credit union of UAB and a proud supporter of UAB football, federally insured by the NCUA. We'll get to our pick 3 when we come back.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from, great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest. Want more of the Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, the Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jace has a good point in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room. We'll get to that in a second. But first of all, I want to tell you, if you're making a tequila choice this weekend while you're watching football, let's poll the panel here. Best tequila you've ever had, LT?
That would be Dobell.
Yeah, even Brownie, when you're doing your ranch water.
Maestro Dobell.
Hey, so Diamante tequila.
Diamante.
I was at a tailgate this past weekend, our man Jim Carson. And he did another tequila brand up until this weekend, and he said, you know what? You guys are coming. We're doing Dobell.
Right.
And everybody loved it.
Yeah.
I was having Dobell and lemonade at 11 o'clock watching USC and Colorado last
so
week.
Good. 100% pure agave. It's aged in wood barrels, and it comes out crystal clear and crisp. Take our word for it. Next time you're ordering tequila, ask for Maestro Dobell Diamante Tequila. Maestro Dobell Diamante. If you just remember Diamante, you'll get there fast. Maestro Dobell Diamante Tequila. Jace brings up this, that Terrion Arnold has a great response to a Nick Saban butt chewing. This is from earlier this week. Here's old number 3.
It looked like at one point in the game you were kind of getting an earful from Coach Saban. When he gets hot like that, like, do you have a strategy for kind of getting through it? Like, moving, like, are you trying to have a conversation with him when he's like that? Do you just say nothing, or how do you handle it?
Nah, obviously you got to ask questions because you got to see what he wants so you can make the adjustment on the field. So when it came to me, I actually was jogging off the field. I'm like, dang, boy, he looked mad. Boy, he finna give it to somebody. And then I'm like, oh, it's me. So like when he was saying that, he was telling me to time up the blitz on the motion. And I know y'all seen, like, how many times do I have to tell you? You know the word. But, like, when he said that, it was kind of like one of those things that you just have to not hear how he's saying it, but you have to hear what he's saying. And, it's another thing when you look at it as far as never knowing when the camera's on you and being coachable. And I feel like the relationship that I have with him, he knows that I can take coaching like that. And it's hard coaching. And when you choose to come here, you never know when he could chew you out. And, like people always say, you should be worried when he's not saying something.
And Brown, I'm like you. Every time I watch his interview this week, I don't know if he's got the long sleeves on, if that's adding to it.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know.
But my goodness, He looks like he is growing into being a hell of a DB.
Boy, he's got long arms. And that was one thing, the question I asked, who did I? Oh, I asked Benjamin Watson about, I think it was, it was Elijah McAllister, designed the player to cover Brock Bowers. I asked roughly the same question to Luganbill this week, and Luganbill, was like, the key is long arms. Like, you're not going to find a guy that's as tall as Brock Bowers that's going to be that good in coverage. I mean, those guys just don't grow in trees. You just got to have long arms to create that radius,
That's right. Because you look at my radius
That's
here.
right.
Now you double this. Now you can.
That's right.
You can be a step behind and still knock away some passes.
And it looks like Terrion Arnold has that radius. Now, could he successfully guard Brock Bowers? I don't know. Not many people have. But the point is, he's got that radius, which is what makes him so good. And again, as we talked about when we played a cut from him earlier this week, he's got to be good because everybody throws at him. Every single team that Alabama plays throws at him.
Because the other guy's even better.
The other guy they don't even look at.
Yeah, even better. Good point, Brownie. Before we get to our pick 3 today, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. I do want to answer Doug's question. LT, he says he's got Cooper Kupp on his fantasy team. Is this the week Kupp comes back?
No, he is practicing right now. He will not be active for the game on Sunday. At least that's what I'm hearing right now. So I would not put Kupp in your starting lineup until next week, but he will be back for week 6.
A storm restoration scoreboard update from last night. Western Kentucky beat Louisiana Tech 35-28 in a wild one down in Ruston last night. And Liberty stayed unbeaten 21-16 over Sam Houston State. Brownie, you pointed this out. Where does Liberty play next?
Oh, they're at Jacksonville State, Jim.
Yep, and the nuance of that you said last night is how quick that game is on a turnaround.
Oh, that game's Tuesday night, Jim.
Yeah.
Would you like to play a Thursday night, Tuesday night game?
Thursday and a quick turnaround
Yeah.
Tuesday for Liberty at Jack State. That was my takeaway of what you brought up last night on the show about Liberty. They win 21-16. That was brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City always points out it just takes one shingle being screwed up on your roof that's going to cause some water entry and damage your roof forever. Get that roof inspected. If it hasn't been inspected in a while, get it inspected for free with Storm Restoration Roofing and Greg from Pell City. 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531. A small little hail damage storm can cause that shingle problem. Get it inspected. 205-542-3531, or just look him up on Facebook. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Hit it, Rockstar.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
Hey, if you're looking for a place to watch all the games this weekend, how about Buffalo Wild Wings? 11 Central Alabama locations, including the new Buffalo Wild Wings Go location in Vestavia. They've been the #1 sports bar in Birmingham now for over 20 years. Wall-to-wall TVs with all locations remodeled. 26 sauces and seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, and salads. Get in this weekend to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, one note, though, before we get into games this weekend, is Cam Rising making a point yesterday in his weekly interview on Utah Salt Lake City radio, letting everyone know that it wasn't just an ACL tear, that I also tore my meniscus, I tore my MPFL, my MCL, and my ACL. Basically, just about everything you could tear in his knee was ripped up in the Rose Bowl back on January 1st. And he even pointed out that Kyler Murray and Hendon Hooker both had these type injuries and have decided not to play this year.
Yeah, well,
which it appears he has too, right?
Yeah,
It seems that way.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that. They've got to bye this weekend, and they've got Cal next week, and then they've got USC. If he does not play in the Coliseum on October 21st, you will not see Cam Rising ever again at Utah.
And I would allow him to play another year if I was the NCAA. I don't know his situation at all, how many years he's played, if he's already been giving a medical red shirt or whatever. But in this situation, we've got some guys who get a 6th year or 7th year.
Oh, yeah.
Cam Rising would be allowed if he wanted to come back and play another year without losing this whole year because of this injury from January 1st in the Rose Bowl. If I was the NCAA, I would 100% allow him back.
Well, he's still got this is only year 3 for him, so he's still got another year and his COVID year.
Yeah,
he's got 2 more.
So he's got plenty of time.
Yeah.
And here's the rub on this, though. He was viewed as a first-round guy before the season.
He's got to come back and
he's got to come back and show it. Yeah, because, the lasting image is him going down with that injury, and you haven't seen him play in a game since, so that's going to kill his stock. So, as soon as I say you might never see him in a Utah uniform again, he's got to come back. But I kind of get the feeling we're not going to see him this year.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Lance. At some point, what kind of sense does it even make to play him? They are still alive. But to your point, if he can't play against USC, they probably lose that game. And then at that point, you're not really even alive in the Pac-12 anymore. So why rush him back if he's going to come back next year? They're 4-1, 1-1 in conference. They're still alive in that conference. But the next time you take a conference loss,
that's right.
You really have to look long and hard.
And I agree with you. USC's defense we know is not good, but right now it's hard for Utah to score. 14 in a win against UCLA, 7 in the loss last Friday night against Oregon State. They can't score with USC without Cam Rising.
By the way, go play the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3. We only do Saturday's games, and you have until kickoff Saturday morning to play. If you've already gone 3-0 one week, you're in the drawing at the end of the year for the grand prize. If you've done it multiple times, you've got multiple opportunities to win. More than one ball in the bucket, better chance to win. But you got to at least go 3-0 one time throughout the course of the year to get into the drawing at the end of the year for the grand prize. Some of you have no balls in the bucket yet, like me. I've been 2-1 a couple of times. 2-1's great, but 2-1 doesn't get a ball in the bucket. You got to be a perfect 3-0 in our pick 3. You go pick your games. It's at nextroundlive.com only. Nextroundlive.com. Look for the big Buffalo Wild Wings logo. Click it. Pick your games, make the play, and try to be 3-0. One game to keep an eye on this week is Louisville as they play Notre Dame. Louisville is unbeaten, but in my opinion, untested. And I will point out, Brownie, close wins over Georgia Tech.
Not a good team.
Indiana.
Not a good team.
NC State.
Not a good team. That's 3 not good teams. They've had close wins over. They at least won the game. So
Notre Dame, much better than Louisville in my opinion.
There's no doubt. But Notre Dame's coming off 2 really emotional games, an emotional loss on a last-second play to Ohio State, and then an emotional win on a 4th and 16 where they convert, and then Estime takes it in, not only for the win, but for the cover against Duke. So you wonder where Notre Dame is. Louisville, on the other hand, they cracked the top 25. They're sitting at 5-0 for the first time since 2013, but they've lost 6 straight against ranked opponents. Jack Plummer leads the ACC in picks with 6. I got a sneaky feeling Louisville keeps it close.
If you go headsets in this one, do we go Marcus Freeman or Jeff Brom? I know Brom's got the history here, but do you really believe he's that much better than Marcus Freeman?
I think he is a
that
better
much
coach.
better.
Not that much better,
Okay.
no.
I think he's a really good play caller. But in this one, I'm going, let's go simple. Let's go quarterbacks. Jack Plummer, great name.
Yeah, not even close.
It's not even close. Sam Hartman.
Yep.
And last week against Duke, hats off to Mike Elko, the way he controlled Sam Hartman much like Ohio State did. But when the game was on the line, it's 4th and 16, and Sam Hartman, who may look like a pretty boy to the young ladies out there, was balls to the wall, getting 17 yards. And when it got down to everyone's going to meet at the yardstick, what did he do? He throws his body in the air, and he goes flying and gets that first down that basically ends up saving the game for Notre Dame.
I bet Elko has thought about that defensive call all week. I don't know how.
It's the only time he rushed 3 and dropped everybody back.
He completely changed his approach.
Let me say this about Louisville, though. This will be an electric crowd tomorrow. It's a primetime game on ABC. If you get by Notre Dame, I think they start 10-0. A lot of people said play Louisville because of the schedule, play their over this year. I wasn't buying it, but if they get by Notre Dame, they're going to beat Pitt. Duke's not going to have Riley Leonard back. They're going to beat Virginia Tech. They're going to beat Virginia, and then they head to Miami at 10-0. So Louisville's one of those teams that's kind of laying in the weeds in the ACC. Nobody's talking about them. I don't think they're that good, but I think this is a ripe spot for the Cardinals.
I want to give my boy Brown and me some credit from back in the summer because we had noticed how bad this schedule was for Louisville. We sort of knew they'd be right here going into this game.
I thought they'd be 4-0. I didn't think they'd beat NC State, and they were lucky to survive a offensively challenged Wolfpack last week.
And we thought maybe they could get to the ACC championship game only because they don't play anybody good in the ACC.
And still, this is not an ACC game for them.
I'm telling you, man, if you want Louisville out of the picture, they need to lose this week.
Yeah, so that's a great point, LT. Another game that may screw you up as you're making your pick 3s this weekend, to me, is the UCLA game. Because UCLA, tough game against nationally ranked Washington State. It's in Pasadena. You may think to yourself, man, Cam Ward, Heisman Trophy candidate, man, lights up everybody. I mean, he's part of the Pac-12 quarterback brigade. So good. Not spoken a lot of. The Bruins, right there from the 90210, the nation's #1 defense when it comes to yards per play, only allowing 3.75 yards per play. Chip Kelly, offensive guru, they're playing a little D in the 90210.
But, buddy, they couldn't score to save their life against Utah.
They can't right now. I think Dante Moore's going to get better and better as the season goes on. Cam Ward, almost 1,400 passing yards, 0 interceptions. 4th most by a player without throwing a pick in a team's first 4 games in the last 20 seasons. Let that resonate a little bit. We've had some great quarterback play over the last 20 seasons. He is playing at an extremely high level. I think UCLA gets them, though. UCLA, we haven't seen them since a bad offensive performance in Salt Lake, that 14-7 loss. I think UCLA plays with a mat on. I think they get the Cougars and give them their first loss this weekend.
And it's a weird point spread, right? At mybookie.ag.
Yeah, it's UCLA's favorite 3.
They should be.
UCLA is favored.
I know.
3.
That's what I was going to say. I think most people, even on the road, would look at that and think, I think Washington State with Cam Ward might be favored in this one, the way UCLA has struggled at times on offense.
Yeah,
I mean, Washington State's got that little number beside them. They're number 13 in the country.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah.
And they're especially good in Pullman. We've already seen big wins against Oregon State. We've seen a big win against Wisconsin. That is an electric small crowd that is really pulling for their Cougs because this is their last chance to, by the way, go out with a bang with the Pac-12. I like UCLA in this spot.
Yeah.
I think UCLA is a good team. I think they're underrated. They were ranked before that loss to Utah. Now they've completely fallen off the map. Nobody's talking about them. This will be a fun game. Unfortunately, unless you've got Uzi, you're not going to be able to watch this because Pac-12.
It is a Pac-12 network weekend. All but one Pac-12 game is on the Pac-12 network. That's USC Arizona is the only one.
Yep.
If you don't have Pac-12 network, you can watch.
Yeah, I'm going to.
And there are good games there because Washington State, UCLA in the afternoon window for us, the early window for them. Then Colorado, which has been a ratings darling, plays the primetime game for us at Arizona State. So the ratings will be down.
First week, they're not 1 or 2.
And the late night, which would be a great night for us to watch this.
Yep.
But it's on the Pac-12 network. Number 15, Oregon State at Cal in Berkeley, where that's my upset alert this week.
Yep.
I think that's an entertaining football game.
I think I probably have a secondary TV just locked on Uzi and the Pac-12 network because those are really
good day.
games.
No, that's their best day of football. It's the best day of football they'll ever have again.
And I don't know if
On
the
the
Pac-12
network.
I don't know if the Pac-12 is going to make any excuses anymore because basically half the season's over and they're going to dissolve. But everybody's going to say Colorado's ratings went down, not because of the Pac-12 network, because they've lost back-to-back games, which isn't true. If that game against Arizona State was on ESPN or ABC,
it would be one of the top 3 games of the day.
It would be. And by the way, in that afternoon window, Brown has talked all week about how good the 11 o'clock window, but in that 2:30 window for us, other than Alabama, Texas A&M, best game on TV in the country at that point is Washington State versus UCLA.
Yeah, nope.
And it's on the Pac-12 network. All right, one more thing to tell you about in this segment. 4 downs in the next segment. Our show being brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. We are wanting to share the story of Urology Centers of Alabama to help you health-wise. UCA has over 35 urologists on hand at 16 different locations across Alabama. So there is a Urology Centers of Alabama near you. Go to their website to check out the locations. Treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones, they'll take care of you. Visit urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com to schedule an appointment right now. This week in history.
Is this from the newsletter?
This is from the newsletter.
Yeah.
Dave Kuntz.
You sure it's not Kuntz?
K-U-N-S-T. How would you say it?
K-U-N what?
K-U-N-S-T.
I knew a girl in college. Her last name was Kuntz.
I absolutely would not say it the way you did.
Yeah.
Dave Kuntz.
Kuntz.
In 1970, on June 20th, 1970, said, I'm tired of my hometown, tired of my hometown, I'm tired of my job, and I'm tired of my wife.
Jeez.
So he left.
In that order?
That's how he listed it. That was the quote.
At least she wasn't number 1.
That was the quote. He went on a circumnavigation of the earth.
In a boat?
No, he walked it and then took boats wherever he had to. But
so he walked.
14.5 thousand miles of walking he did. 21 pairs of shoes in 1970 to October 3rd this week, 1974.
Is this the Forrest Gump motivation?
Apparently.
He was gone for 4 years as he walked the earth. At the time, it was the best, most documented circumnavigation of the earth.
Damn, there's a lot of people who don't like walking up the steps.
How pissed would you get when you be when you get home and you gained a pound that whole time? Like, I just walked around the earth and I still gained weight.
Sad part of the story. His brother went with him, but in 1972, while they were in Afghanistan, rebels shot and killed his brother. Kuntz was also shot and wounded, but continued on his journey even after his brother's death.
That sucks. Your brother gets shot by rebels and you still got to walk home.
This is Forrest Gump all over
Isn't
again,
that
right?
amazing?
Because didn't Bubba get shot?
Bubba got shot, and then Forrest got shot in
Yeah,
the butt.
got shot in the ass because he was on a donut, wasn't he? Eating ice cream.
What happened to Lieutenant Dan?
He got knocked down low legs.
Was Lieutenant Dan bitter?
No. He should have gone down with his squad.
21 pairs of shoes back then. How about that?
That was the best scene, though, in Forrest Gump. Again, I think the movie's overrated. I think it's entertaining. But when Lieutenant Dan is at sea, just as bitter and mad at the world as anybody ever.
He's strapped in.
He didn't give a shit, man.
What's that? It's
And when
so
they had
talk
the-
like, dude, Lieutenant Dan.
Remember they had the strippers over? Wasn't the stripper in his wheelchair with him?
She tasted like cigarettes.
So many good one-liners.
What's
in
he
that
say?
movie.
It's my Asian wife. My legs are titanium. Never in NASA.
All right. When we come back, we'll do our 4 downs and a lot more. The show brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Thank you last night to the Crestwood Tavern. We had a blast out there. You can still go back and watch our show. 90 minutes of fun getting you ready for football. It's on all our video platforms. We're back in a moment on TNR.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations: Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
The Next Round golf cart is back, and it's presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Card for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Hey, before we get to our 4 downs today, part of the show is being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Michelson Laser Vision, the folks who changed LT's life a few years ago. Do you still claim to have a fighter pilot?
Yeah,
eyesight?
I've got 2015 vision. I really do. And I'll get in these weird conversations. I'll be at a party or a restaurant, and I'll be talking to somebody, and they ask me, like, did it really change your life? Like, I've been thinking about going to see Dr. Mort Michelson.
Yeah.
And over the years,
every time I put these on, you have to think to yourself, damn, I'm glad I don't have
You
to
know,
do
the
that.
unfortunate thing, I think both of you guys have gotten screened and you're not potential candidates. And
Well, I am. It's just that I'll be trading one issue for another.
Yeah, but he told you that straight up.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's the thing.
I'm not eligible. I have Fuchs dystrophy.
Yeah.
Well, there are places out there literally that will. They'll do the procedure, even if you really don't need the procedure. Dr. Mark Michelson, he's got the integrity. He's going to tell you if you need it or you don't need it.
That's what Goose says. LASIK was the best decision he ever made.
Dude, awesome. Like I was one of those guys. The contacts were not only a waste of money, it was a pain in the ass. And like I would go to sleep with the contacts in the eye, which is so bad for the eye. If you've been procrastinating, all you got to do is call 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. Best in the business, Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Okay, before we get to 4 downs, football tonight, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, and Illinois. Both of these are games that have some intrigue to them. First of all, Oklahoma State struggling. Gundy's the highest-paid coach in the Big 12. Kansas State still a good football team despite their one loss, just outside of the top 25. Entertaining game in Stillman.
Well, this Kansas State loss is looking better and better. I had them to win the Big 12 before the year started. I think they've still got a chance. Their one loss is out of conference. It was to Missouri on a last-second field goal. We look at Missouri now.
They're only a 5-0 team.
Yeah, 4.5-point dogs to LSU this week. They're undefeated right now. Oklahoma State, though, they're on a 2-game skid. The last time we saw them, they got completely physically whipped, 33-7 to South Alabama.
By South Alabama.
By South Alabama at home. So they've had a bye week. They're regrouping. They've won 7 of their past 8 home meetings against Kansas State in Stillwater. I don't know if they can manufacture the offense. They're 13th in the conference in scoring, and Mike Gundy's offenses used to be dynamic, and they used to score a lot of points.
They did.
And now it's more they lean on defense, but the defense isn't good. They're getting 11.5 points. I can't remember outside of Bedlam the last time Oak State got double digits at home.
I was going to bring that up. I mean, we've lived to see a time where Oak State's playing just a normal Big 12 team, not a Texas, not an Oklahoma, at home, and they're laying double digits.
I'm probably going to have a side on this game, so lanceslock.com.
Lanceslock.com for that one. By the way, that's 6:30 ESPN, 7 o'clock FS1. Nebraska, Illinois, bowl implications on the line here for both of these teams. And you talked about the inspirational play by the Bears last night after the passing of Butkus yesterday. Butkus played his college ball at Illinois. We'll see what they'll honor him with a moment of silence at the stadium tonight. On FS1, 7 o'clock, Nebraska and Illinois. Our friend Matt Rule and company. Challenging game on the road at Illinois, but I sort of like Nebraska in this one.
Both teams are 0-2 in conference, so somebody's going to drop to 0-3 in the Big Ten. Coming into the season, and I think we mentioned this when we talked about honeymoons over. I think Brown brought up Brett Bielema.
I did. Bad season so far.
Well, this is a guy where the West was so open. People believed after 8 wins last year, maybe they could build a little bit on that. Luke Altmaier coming in from Ole Miss, the transfer quarterback. They just haven't been good. They gave up 44 points, lost 44-19 to Purdue. And it was such a good defense last year. The defense just isn't good this year. They allowed a season-low 406 yards. I mean, how can you say season-low 406 yards at home, giving up 44 points?
Who's the best team in that division? I think it's Wisconsin, but they're not very good.
Yeah, we'll see them tonight against Rutgers.
That division is so bad.
It's not tonight.
That's tomorrow morning.
It's tomorrow
morning. Yeah.
Yeah, more on that in our 4 downs. Before we do our 4 downs, Brownie, if you would, tell us about JohnstonRVCenter.com. Great Nick Johnston and those
He's
folks.
good, too, man. The whole family's good people. And you can find him I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online at JohnstonRVCenter.com. Cherokee is the #1 selling brand of RV in America. It is the #1 selling brand in Alabama. And you guessed it, nobody sells them better than Johnston RV Center. Also, they love the military like we do on this show. We know that the military is responsible for keeping this the greatest country in the universe. No questions asked about it. They feel the same way at Johnston RV, so much so they want to honor you with a great discount there. Just a small way for them to show their gratitude. Whether you're active duty or retired military, you get a great discount at Johnston RV. Just ask them about that. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Okay, as we get ready for this big football weekend coming up, game day tomorrow is at the Texas State Fair. Guest picker, Baker Mayfield, 3-1 quarterback from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got an off week. He'll be the guest picker tomorrow. Let's do our 4 downs Rockstar. It's brought to you by our friends at Slice LT. Tell us about that.
Yeah, local pizza, local ingredients. Stop in this weekend at one of those great locations, the original in Lakeview, one in Vestavia, one in Montevallo, and now Crestline Park. Go see the Bajalia Brothers. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Maryland total points against Ohio State. Over under 20.5 in this contest.
I take the over in that one. I think they're going to be behind and chunking it a lot, and I could see late in the game Ohio State has got a big enough lead. Maryland gets some garbage points to get over that 20.5. I'd take the over there.
It's a good number. I am going to lean under. You look at Ohio State, 8-0 all-time versus the Terps. They've averaged over 57 points in those games. I'm taking a look at this one. It's an 11 o'clock game. I'm going to tell you, if I play it, I'm laying it. I would play Ohio State here.
Yeah, in this game last year, 43-30, game closer than the score would indicate. 13-10 at the half, Maryland was winning the football game. Then 17 third-quarter points from Ohio State. But then here comes Talia Tagovailoa back. Cuts it to 33-30 with 9:49 to play. Then they chew clock. Ohio State chews clock.
Tick.
Down to 49 seconds. They kick a field goal, make it 36-30. Then they did the scramble play. Boom, fumble in the end zone. They lose the game 43-30, but much closer than that. Really a 36-30 game last year. I think they score.
You're going
under the 20.5. This Ohio
Okay.
State defense is legit, and I think they eat Talia Tagovailoa's lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, I would agree.
Second down.
Statement games for Missouri, Texas A&M, and Kentucky, teams that are always climbing the mountain, it seems, in the SEC. Missouri with LSU, A&M with Bama, Kentucky with Georgia. Combine those 3 games. Forget point spreads. Outright wins. Is that trio 3-0, 2-1, 1-2, or 0-3 in a big statement weekend for 3 teams that are always climbing mountains, baby?
Say the 3 again. Texas A&M.
Missouri, Texas A&M, and Kentucky.
I'll go.
Missouri playing LSU, A&M playing Bama, Kentucky playing Georgia.
0-3.
0-3.
1-2.
1-2.
I know who his one is.
I know who your one winner is. Bama hater.
I would not be surprised 2-1. I would be really surprised 3-0.
Which is the second one you have to think about?
Missouri. I don't know where LSU is right now.
Yeah.
If there really is dissension in that locker room, this could go south quickly.
It's all the time, man. It's Missouri, man. This they're climbing the mountain.
That mountain.
Oh, Texas A&M. This is Texas A&M shot.
Yeah.
Kentucky,
This is your one
Georgia.
time.
This is when Kentucky
You
can
got a
get to
chance to
Atlanta.
get to Atlanta. Yeah.
All the time. Douglas goes 0-3. All right, let's do third down.
Third down.
Do you think they fly into Atlanta when they play Georgia?
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be like the worst part about it, right? Is every year they lose to Georgia that they got to drive back to Atlanta. Like, boys, y'all get a good look while you're here. This is the only time we're coming.
There's where they play that championship
That's
game.
right.
Rutgers and Wisconsin, Iowa State and TCU. Better chance for Rutgers or Iowa State to win the game this weekend?
I will go Iowa State. I think Iowa State's got a legit shot against TCU. Iowa State, right when we bury Matt Campbell, probably played their best game last week. So I think Iowa State, not going to be surprised at all if they win that game. I would be really surprised if Rutgers. I think Rutgers is better than advertised, though. But I would be surprised if they win that game.
I do too, and I just think Wisconsin, they're just not very good. I think I'd probably go Rutgers here.
I'm going to agree with both of you. I think both of them win the game.
2 upsets, Rutgers and Iowa State.
Iowa State gets TCU, continuing Sonny Dykes' tailspin this year. And Rutgers, no Malusi for Wisconsin.
Yep.
That's a lot of Braylon Allen, though.
And Tanner Mordecai has not been fantastic. Rutgers' nasty defense there in say it for me.
Piscataway, Jim.
Piscataway. There you go.
Say it.
Piscataway.
Piscataway. There you go.
Fourth down.
The Piscataway. On fourth down, here's a birthday today. Happy birthday, Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville
the Jags
Jaguars.
He's 23.
24, according to today. So he was 23 until midnight today. Better Trevor career when it's all said and done, Trevor Lawrence or Trevor Hoffman?
Trevor Hoffman.
Trevor Hoffman, yeah. Considered.
I mean, outside of Mariano Rivera,
probably the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be really good. I think they turned the corner They're going to be back in London this weekend, but they turned it last week against Atlanta. He's going to have a really good career. I don't think he's going to be a top 20 quarterback of all time. And Trevor Hoffman, when he would walk out to AC/DC,
game over.
It was.
Yeah. 7-time All-Star, Trevor Hoffman.
He was a stud.
Yeah. So you don't think Lawrence gets to that point at any point?
I don't.
All right. That's our 4 downs today, brought to you by the great folks at Slice.
Yeah. Am I a hater because I say Bama's going to lose? I don't really understand that.
No, you hate Alabama.
No.
Yeah, Lance hates Alabama.
I mean, I've seen that multiple times this week. I'm just
Bama hater.
It's just how I feel about this game. I'm wrong a lot.
You got to back the Tide.
Yeah. Look, the Tide has, under Nick Saban said this yesterday, made us, a good living.
That's why I don't understand why you hate them.
Anyway, 4 locations. Slice. I'm sure they're pulling for Alabama.
Oh,
it's
you
good
know
for
they
business.
are. They love the state.
Yeah, stop and see the Bajai Brothers. Local pizza, local ingredients. Tell them the next round sent you.
Brown's going to lean into it here all of a sudden. I should not have used the phrase Bama hater. My apologies.
That was Jim that said it, actually. Yeah,
that's my
fault.
fault.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So you've labeled me now.
See?
Thanks.
What kind of friend is
Lunchroom's the
Jim?
one that made the T-shirt. It's in the shop over there.
Thank you, Dunaway.
Yeah. Hey, you're right, Karen. I'm sorry. You're from Piscataway, that area up in New Jersey. Karen, thanks for coming by last night to Crestwood Tavern. You and your beautiful husband, a wonderful husband.
Oh, Karen,
wow.
she was.
That's a weird
She was,
description.
he played. He asked me. He said he played. He won 2 national championships playing for Bear Bryant. I was like, were you on the 79 team? He was like, no. He was like, I was on the 60 teams. He was like, you think Dunaway watched me? And I was like, yeah.
64,
he
65?
was sitting Indian style on his floor watching his 12-inch black and white TV.
I did not.
With the rabbit ears on.
I was probably sucking a bottle at that point. That's top of the hour. Our friends at Wayne's celebrating 50 years. Wayne's Pest Control has been serving our communities by doing the things they love. That's providing world-class pest control and termite protection to those we care about the most at Wayne's, and that's all of you, the Next Round listeners. And to say thank you, they want to give you $50 off pest control or termite protection. $50 off. All you have to do is go to callwaynes.com. Callwaynes.com. We talk to Todd Ferman in the desert next.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State Map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We're about to talk to Todd Ferman. I want to remind you, though, first off, that I have so many good picks this weekend. It's such an easy board this weekend.
I can't wait for you to talk to Ferman, because do you just want to do the whole interview without me and Lance?
I'll start it off. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine. Are we going to get some steaks on the table?
We've got 3 steaks on the table this weekend. I don't know if we got any more, but we got our friends at Milo's who's introduced it. I forget the steaks, LT. Milo's has introduced loaded fries to their menu. Their classic crinkle cut fries topped with queso, bacon, and jalapenos for the Mexi fries. And then they've got their ground beef, 100% pure ground beef, grilled onions, Milo sauce, and queso on top of that for their saucy fries. If you go and download the Milo's mobile app, I did this myself, and you use the promo code NEXTROUND, you get one of their new loaded fries for free. That's right. Download the Milo's app, use the promo code NEXTROUND, and the fries are free. So remember that with our friends at Milo's. Let's bring in Todd Ferman now, Bet the Board podcast. He joins us on the JohnsonRVCenter.com hotline.
Look at you.
Ferman, welcome to the show, man. I don't understand how you guys keep your lights on in Las Vegas. Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame, name brands, easy plays this weekend on the board. Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame. You guys are giving money away.
I mean, Dunaway, I have my pen and paper out to get Sunday's newspaper today from you. So whichever ones you'd like to stack in order of overall strength, I'd be more than happy to go the other way. And I think if you give me 4 bets, I can guarantee a 3-1 outcome in one capacity or another.
I'm telling you, Alabama, give the points. Texas, give them. Ohio State, give them. Notre Dame, give them. You guys are upside down this weekend.
The way things are trending with the Alabama-Texas A&M game, I think that one will be one of the most interesting to watch. Where we see the move come in today in through kickoff tomorrow, because you did have Alabama open right around a field goal favorite for their trip to Kyle Field in this matchup. I mean, you guys know the rumor mill and how that's been spiraling out of control, and I think part of that's contributed to A&M taking some money in this particular game. But when you dig into some of the matchups on both sides of the ball, I'm not sure which offensive line is better equipped to keep their quarterback upright. Fortunately for Alabama, though, they have mobility working on their side, whereas Max Johnson, a little bit more of a statue presence there. But you look at A&M, and they have really solidified their run defense to the start of this season compared to where it finished last year. The lasting image, though, that I have of the Aggie secondary when they stepped up in class was Miami receivers running untouched through the second and third levels. So it'll be interesting if Alabama can get the vertical passing game going and they can make Max Johnson uncomfortable. There's no doubt points will be at a premium in this contest, and it may take a turnover from one of these respective defenses to create a short field or two.
I have learned to control my emotions on picks, but this past Wednesday night,
I was about to say I saw a different side,
and I don't know what side you were on. I've got a feeling you had Middle Tennessee State with me laying the points. I felt great at halftime at 23-7. And for whatever reason, I mean, my blood was boiling watching that second half. Just dumb mistakes, big plays from Jacksonville State. And it's just got my week off to a bad start. What side were you on, and what did you think about that game?
And you know, LT, I actually bet middle of the week before against Western Kentucky and learned my lesson in that game when they had multiple chances to get inside the number and just were unable to execute, whether it was with the red zone or come up with a timely stop. I think the perfect encapsulation of what we saw Wednesday night between Middle and Jacksonville State was Middle Tennessee State fumbling a punt, which they had no business being anywhere near, and it was basically from that point forward, the floodgates completely opened. Credit to Rich Rodriguez and what he's had Jacksonville State doing already this season as they make the transition from the FCS to FBS, but I think it was much more an indictment of Middle Tennessee State where they were. I guess the only way things could have gotten worse is if you happen to lay the bad number last night with Louisiana Tech at 7.5, and you watch Louisiana Tech come storming all the way back against Western Kentucky.
I mean, I'm trying to educate these people, Dunaway. You crumble when you face the Jacksonville State University, Ferman.
Cardiac Cox.
The Cardiac Cox. You just the pressure of playing a tradition-rich program like Jacksonville State's too much for a team like Middle Tennessee. You guys will learn that one day.
Here, the bottom line is this. Apparently, Jacksonville, Alabama is where you go for a reclamation project and a redemption tour for Rich Rodriguez. So we can only hope, Brownie, your career doesn't follow a similar trajectory.
It is not where I went for a degree. I tried, Furman, but 6 years was enough, and they told me, go try something else. Kentucky is at Georgia.
Hey, look, a lot of people go to college for 6+ years. They're just called doctors and lawyers. It's okay.
Yes, they still call me Ryan.
How about if we just start calling you Doctor?
Dr. Brown.
What's up, Doc?
Hey, so Kentucky is at Georgia, and Ferman can be found at Todd Ferman on Twitter, bettheboardpodcast.com. And don't forget, you can get all the games that are of interest at bettheboardpodcast.com. We're only going to touch on a few. Kentucky is at Georgia, 14.5. I've said it a lot this week, Ferman. A lot of people would look at Kentucky and Ray Davis, the way he ran it against Florida. The fact that Auburn had 200-plus rush yards against Georgia and say that's a bad recipe. You got to dig a little deeper. Auburn's traditional run game didn't do that great. A lot of that came from the quarterback spot. I don't think it translates for Kentucky.
You are exactly right. And I think when you watch that game between Auburn and Georgia last week, it was more Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford getting outside the tackle boxes than anything Auburn was able to do in the trenches. And last I checked, Devin Leary's not exactly known for his mobility. So if they're going to try and line up and run Ray Davis between the tackles, I don't think Liam Cohn and company are going to have a tremendous amount of success in this game. And look, I'm not going to take anything away from Kentucky's dominant performance against Florida, but I think that had a little bit more to do with the Gators' lack of preparation than anything else. Kirby Smart, in the wake of their lethargic 7-point win down at Jordan-Hare, pretty much called out his defense, used the words depressed to describe how they struggled to stop the run. And I think when you're a two-time national champion, you need those little wins where you don't go out there and look dominant, that you can get the attention on both sides of the ball. Expect Georgia at night at Sanford Stadium to be ready to go. And when we look at Georgia, I mean, they've now trailed by double digits in consecutive SEC games for the first time since 2016. I don't think this edition is nearly as dominant, obviously, as what we've seen each of the last 2 years, but this does feel like a buy low opportunity for Georgia against Kentucky coming off of that emotional high, knowing that Georgia has really clamped down on the Wildcats' offense over the last couple of meetings, winning 13 straight against Kentucky, 6 straight by 10-plus points, and holding the Wildcats to 17 points or less in all those contests. Feels like 14 is the ceiling for this Wildcat offense.
Another way you've lost your freaking mind in Las Vegas. Last year, 49-0. And now Texas should be the number one team in the country. They beat mighty Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And you're telling me it's less than a touchdown? They're going to beat Oklahoma, who barely beat a downtrodden Cincinnati team 20-6. What are you guys thinking, Ferman? What are you thinking?
You know, no accounting for the Red River rivalry last year, Dunaway, where when you look at Oklahoma, they went out there and they ran Wildcat because they didn't have their starting quarterback. So, no, I don't think Texas wins this year 49-0 again. Given how dominant they were a season ago. But when you look at Oklahoma, there are some concerns. This team is undefeated against the spread, but the two times that they've stepped up in class, relatively speaking, the offense hasn't exactly looked like its dominant self. A 20-6 win on the road at Nippert Stadium against Cincinnati, and of course a little bit of a struggle against SMU where they got outside the number late in that contest. But what's been different for this Oklahoma team than what we saw last season is how good they've been on the defensive side of the ball. This will no doubt be a major jolt to the system. All signs point to Jatavian Sanders, the very talented tight end for Texas, being available in this game, which gives Texas a full complement of weapons. But the last time that we saw Texas kind of step up in class against a defense on a stage like this was against TCU last year. And the Horned Frogs did an excellent job of heating up Ewers, getting him off his spot, and the footwork was nowhere where it needed to be. For me, I lean towards Texas in this spot. I want to see Oklahoma go out and prove it, but I don't have enough wiggle room to try and get involved. I will say if you believe Texas wins this game, you might want to explore a different market because Texas would have an inside track to the college football playoff. And I'm not going to say it's quite apples to apples like a money line bet in this game, but I do believe taking a price north of $2 would correlate to a Texas win here.
Hey, what do you do with this Colorado team now?
I mean, I think they're finally starting to show the team that we expected them to be early in the year. I mean, when we talked about the game last week against USC, that was the first time Colorado's summer numbers reflected their game week price tag. And while Colorado may have made the scoreboard cosmetics look a heck of a lot better, they weren't that competitive for the better part of 3 quarters until USC took their foot off the gas and allowed the Buffaloes to sneak in that back door, losing by just a touchdown. This is the first time that Colorado will play a game, as I like to say, where the circus won't be in town. No big noon kickoff, no college game day. You're relegated to Pac-12 network. So let's see the level of focus and motivation we get from a Buffs team whose depth was a concern coming into the season and continues to get tested. Arizona State, to their credit, while they don't have the wins to show for it, has fought tooth and nail each of the last couple weeks against USC, on the road at Cal, much more competitive than I thought. It's Arizona State or pass for me in this spot, but honestly, LT, I was hoping that the odds makers inflated this number and we were going to have a chance to grab 7 with the Sun Devils.
I agree. Hey, boy, it's tough to play Arizona State right now, though.
Oh, there's no doubt. Kenny Dillingham's got his work cut out for him. He's got to get all these kids to buy into his new culture, and until they go out there and actually win games, there's very little wiggle room in the betting market at this point.
Todd Ferman with us, BetTheBoardPodcast.com, at Todd Ferman on Twitter. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Charles is back again. He said last week you gave him 2 overs that both hit in the NFL, one in the NFL, one in college. You got 2 more for him, he wants to know?
You know, we're going to have to teach Charles that there is some value in going under the total on some games as well. We just don't have to root for points every week on the college football front. But one game that I think we could see a good amount of points, I'll take the low-hanging fruit between LSU and Missouri. This is a Missouri offense that's humming on all cylinders right now. Brady Cook, I don't know what happened to him this offseason, but he's protecting the football. He's dotting the I. I mean, some of the throws he made last week against Vanderbilt were incredible. LSU's defense went from being a little bit undersized to just a full-blown debacle in terms of blown coverage. So I think LSU and Missouri could see plenty of points scored in that particular contest. So I look to go over 64 in that game. And then we'll do a little bit of a deep dive in a game between Southern Miss and Old Dominion. Southern Miss has really fallen off defensively from where they were a season ago. Last week against Texas State, they fought tooth and nail to get back in the game. But I think ODU's offense is starting to figure things out. We saw a number of explosive plays in their performance last week against Marshall. I think we could see points aplenty between ODU and Southern Miss. I like that game over the total at 57.
Remember, you can go play all of our games at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com, and our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. Listen to Furman, makes you smarter. Go to the Bet the Board podcast, makes you smarter, and then go 3-0 at nextroundlive.com. Furman, I don't know who sets these lines in Vegas. But do they watch the games on television? Because Notre Dame, battles Ohio State, beats Duke, 2 good football teams.
Yeah, by the way, bad beat. I had Duke last week, Furman. I just that made me just disgusted.
That's a tough pill to swallow, because even with the touchdown, you still have a chance to get there, and then of course the 2-point conversion becomes the final death knell. But go ahead, Dunaway. Tell me exactly what your sports almanac suggests is going to unfold in Louisville on Saturday night.
Biff over here.
Biff likes Notre Dame to boat race Louisville. They're so physical in the trenches, they can outrun them. I've watched Louisville. I don't know who sets the line, but I've watched Louisville. They barely beat Georgia Tech. They barely beat Indiana. They played a close game with NC State. Those teams suck. Notre Dame doesn't suck.
They're on my card now.
Notre Dame big in this one, right, Furman?
I'll give you credit here because this number is short on the surface between Notre Dame and Louisville. I make Notre Dame, if all things were equal, much more than a touchdown favorite in this spot. I'd make them 8.5, 9. The problem here for the Irish, if you're looking to make a case for them, you have to adjust for the situation. They're now going to be playing their 7th straight game in 7 weeks. That includes 2 gut-wrenching performances over the last couple weeks where they lost in the final play to Ohio State, needed some heroics from Audric Estime that Lance referenced against Duke last week, and they still have that trip that they played way back in week 1 where they had to travel internationally. So you wonder what they'll have in reserve for this game, and don't look through the windshield where they have USC on deck in South Bend next weekend. These are the kind of games that Jeff Brom, made a killing on when he was the head coach at Purdue. Typically gets his undermanned team to step up in class and really land some special haymakers here. Jack Plummer, no stranger to playing against Notre Dame, thanks to the transfer portal. This will be the 3rd straight season Plummer will face the Irish wearing his 3rd different college uniform. Purdue, Cal, and now Louisville playing at home. Sam Hartman will obviously want to erase some of the lasting images we saw of him last time he played at Louisville a season ago where he could not protect the football. If you like Louisville in this game, my angle would be to bet them in the first half. I'm very curious to see what kind of energy levels that the Irish have in reserve in this spot, because when your head coach is complaining about playing under the lights again, it may not send the right message to the team in terms of getting them to be focused and win this game going away by margin.
All right, Lance has an NFL question for you. I suppose that's going to be Rams-Eagles. And I want to do this. Did I get it right? We're going to go Rams-Eagles.
Well, no, I'll just tell you real quick, and then I'll let Brown get to his point. I've got and people that are listening right now, this will be on my card on Sunday.
Oh,
so I'm giving them free. This is a outright two-team parlay money line.
Guaranteed winner.
The only two undefeated teams in football, both the 49ers, best team in football, and the Philadelphia Eagles go down this weekend. I like the Cowboys straight up. I like the Rams straight up. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'll tell you you're wrong on one of those two legs. I agree with you on the Cowboys. I think they go into San Francisco, and I think they win the game outright. When you look at Dallas, what they've done this year, the offense hasn't exactly been firing on all cylinders, but at the same time, this will be a jolt to the system for the 49ers. It'll be the best defensive line and team that can generate natural pressure for an offensive line that's largely unsettled. And for the 49ers secondary, I think that's one of the biggest deficiencies they have defensively. They haven't faced a vertical passing attack like they will against the Cowboys, but the Rams are the only team that really posed much of a threat, and Matthew Stafford had some success. The Rams just weren't able to keep him upright. The problem I have with the Rams in this spot, even with a potential return of Cooper Kupp, we'll see what kind of snap count he's on, I actually think the home team is in a travel disadvantage, knowing that the Rams have had to crisscross the country to the Eastern time zone twice, logged over 8,500 miles. Matthew Stafford, late in that game, talked about how the muscles in his hip were shutting down, and I worry about him being a sitting duck behind an offensive line that isn't anywhere close to 100%. I respect the money that's come in so far this week on the Rams, but I think Philadelphia got their wake-up call last week in a game that went to overtime against the Commanders. Now, that scoreline doesn't look much better after we saw Washington do what they did last night, but I think Philadelphia, despite the defense taking a tick down, will be too much on the offensive side if they're able to keep Aaron Donald out of the backfield.
I think Daniel knows the game we sometimes play with Furman here in the chat room, because people think, well, of course he knows y'all are going to ask about Alabama and Auburn and LSU and stuff like that. But we like to let Furman flex his muscles. Daniel says, Furman have any info on Texas State versus Louisiana? I mean, I didn't even know those two teams were playing.
No, Texas State has a big out-of-conference win earlier this year against Baylor. Louisiana came to UAB and beat the crap out of the Blazers. What do you have, Furman?
You're not Furman, Dunaway.
He thinks he is this week.
I know.
You know what? I think G.J. Kinney deserves a ton of credit for what he's been able to do in just a 5-game sample size down there at Texas State. I mean, this is a team with a win on Saturday that would go over their preseason win total. That was set at 4.5, but they have taken money against them. The Raging Cajuns opened right around a pick 'em, this number out to 2.5. Kinney said that he wasn't happy with the way he took his foot off the gas against Southern Miss last week, and he won't make that mistake again. But I really believe when you look at what Louisiana has done, making the switch at quarterback from Ben Woolridge, who was a little bit more of a pocket passer, to Zion Chris, who provides a dual threat, this is the perfect spot to try and back Louisiana. This game out to 2.5. I think there's a little bit of value on the home team here as the betting market is slowly catching up to the Bobcats.
Best in the business.
I mean, that's incredible. Really.
I will tell you this, Furman. Last night I told Dunaway, he feels so confident about this card Saturday. I said, I will. We promote mybookie.ag, and I want everybody to go there and put in that promo code next round.
This is one offer from Lance.
But one offer from me. I told Dunaway I will hold anything and everything he wants. No limit. I'm not going to sweat it. And no juice. No juice. I will hold everything he wants this weekend.
Well, Furman would too, apparently. Furman thinks I'm an idiot.
The idiot is a strong term. I just think if I were to book your action for an entire football season, Dunaway, it would have a positive expectation on my financial freedom.
Yes,
You may win for a week or two. You may be able to win for a month. But over a significant sample size, we know that 2-30 NCAA tournament first-round type performance is lurking around the corner. And look, LT and I just want to be there to collect that windfall when it ultimately happens.
It is, but there's one weekend out of the year. I don't know if it's when Saturn is lined up with my Jupiter, but there's 1 week out of the year I see crystal clear, and it just happens to be week 6 this year.
Go. That's it.
It's my Jupiter's in line with Saturn. Play of the weekend.
Oh, Furman, have fun with it. Thank you, Todd. Always good talking with you.
Always a pleasure, gents. Enjoy the games this weekend.
All right, buddy. Take care. Todd Ferman, BetTheBoardPodcast.com on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
It just looks so easy. Tell us about MyBookie.
No, listen, I wanted to read you guys this email real quick.
Okay.
It's from MyBookie. This is This is an email I got right here. Brownie, is Dunaway guaranteeing his football Saturday? And I write back, yeah, you guys might have heard that. And they're like, whatever you do, tell everybody the 110% deposit bonus is back. It's back.
If you want to go play these
Thanks
games.
to Dunaway. Here
you
we
want to
go.
go play these games.
Right.
Texas.
Boom.
Easy.
Boom.
Ohio State. Easy.
Yep.
Alabama. Easy. Georgia. Easy. Notre Dame. Easy. Michigan. Easy. I mean, come on. They're giving
Give
money
another
away
one,
this
Dunaway.
weekend.
Give another one.
I said Texas.
Can I get my Notre Dame steak back? Can I take Louisville?
You're not straight up. I mean, you're not
No.
that bad. 6.5? Is that what it is at mybookie.ag?
I'll check right now.
I'm looking at it right now. I think it's 6.5.
Notre Dame, Louisville, mybookie.ag code next round, 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
I'll give you the 6.5. Notre Dame. There's 4 stakes on the line this weekend, minus 6.5. There you go. I mean, you just see them. You just see them clear. Week 6.
All right, so mybookie.ag code next round. 110%.
Let's update. I'm writing these down. So I've got Louisville plus 6.5.
You've got Louisville plus 6.5. You've got
Bama.
You got Texas A&M
yeah.
even.
Yep.
You've got Ray. Don't call me Donovan Davis. Going over 67.5 yards, which is the biggest stretch. So when we come in on Monday and he is under 67.5 yards, you guys will be like, oh, that's a great call, Dunaway. But by the way, Kirby Smart's defense, they don't fit run gaps as bad as Florida does. He is not going to rush for over 67.5 yards.
It's not like you going out on a limb here because that's all they're going to focus on is shutting him down. I'm just hoping we get a good game. That's why I bet he would go over 67.5. I can't remember the last rusher that went over 100 yards on Georgia.
Last weekend.
No.
Well,
individual.
Team. Yeah, individual.
Yeah. Well, I think Peyton Thorne went for 104 last week. Didn't he?
Well, I know he had that 167-yard run. I don't know if he did.
MyBookie.ag people are so thankful to Dunaway for letting you see it clearly.
And one more. Braves maybe sweeps the Phillies. They may just go 4-0.
92 yards.
Yeah, 92 yards.
Did you hear that? The Braves 4-0 sweep the Phillies?
They may just sweep the Phillies
Boy,
starting tomorrow.
EG in there is cringing. She's going to game 1 tomorrow. She said, I'm really worried about the pitching. And I said, you should be.
Yeah, you should be worried more about Dunaway.
Who's on the hill? Strider?
Striker?
Yeah. Strider has 1 postseason appearance. You know what his ERA is in that one appearance? Almost 20.
He got the nerves out.
It can only go down.
He got the nerves out.
If it goes off.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened. All right, MyBookie.ag code next round.
I'm bringing the broom next week.
When you sign on and you make that initial deposit, thanks to Dunaway, you guys can thank Dunaway. This is the theme of the week. Somebody say Dunaway did something good.
Affirmation week.
Affirmation week for Dunaway. MyBookie.ag is giving that affirmation. They're saying, thanks to Jim Dunaway, 110% of your initial deposit. They're giving you free money to play at MyBookie.ag. You make that deposit. You use code next round. They match it at 110%. And you got free money this weekend. Bet it once, win with it. It is yours and yours forever. MyBookie.ag code next round. MyBookie.ag code next round. Thank you, Jim Dunaway.
You're welcome. When we come back, we've already given you so many headlines, but Monday's headlines today is part of the show, and it's next right here on TNR, which is being brought to you today by the great folks at Michelson Laser Vision again, LT. Tell us about Michelson and what they did for you.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first in the state of Alabama back in 1995 to perform the LASIK procedure. I had the 2200 vision. 20 years ago, I went in, got the procedure done. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
The Next Round Golf Court is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And this day just keeps getting better.
What happened, Jim?
The young lady's out in our command center.
Who's that?
The command center captain is little T, manning everything at Next Round Live. And Emily Grace McWhorter is out there, and they're about to get a chance to sample what I think one of the great fall treats in America is, and that is the best brittle I've ever tasted.
Yeah, Bronny's brittle. Rocky Bronny's coming up.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm not a big brittle fan, but I like Bronny's brittle.
Oh, her brittle is ridiculous.
It's not tooth breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so good. If you like brittle,
she did a jalapeno brittle.
Oh, I had it.
Oh, that's interesting.
I had it.
I don't think she does it anymore. I don't think there was a huge market for that.
I had it. I've had a lot of it, but she's bringing some of her brittle by. We will sample it here on the show at some point today. But little T and EG have never had Bronny's brittle yet, and they're going to get to sample it today. What a treat for them.
What a treat, Jimmy D.
And we run into her all the time at Odie's.
Yeah. Am I doing an Odie spot now?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm just making
sure. I've worked with you a long time.
Hey, look, I'm there every Wednesday. Rocky's there every Wednesday. Brown's there about every third or fourth Wednesday. Bronny's there every Wednesday. One of the great bartenders, part of that staff at Odie's Tavern. Get in this weekend, live music tonight, tomorrow night. Incredible food from Rodney Davis. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Not only the original location in Crestline, now one in Homewood, right off of Broadway on the corner there on Oxmoor Road. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
Milkman, a big Braves fan, wanted us to ask Ferman about Braves Phillies. I apologize, Milkman. I did not see that tweet before Ferman was off, or I would have done it. But he does say Lance Strider was hurt on that start you're referencing. Look at his record against the Phillies this year. I don't know what his record is.
I know the
against
Braves
the
are 8-5 against the Phillies this year.
Yeah.
I don't know what his record is.
I'm assuming it's good if Milkman wants you to look at it.
I'll tell you this. Sometimes in baseball, when you are the best team, and I've seen this firsthand with the Dodgers, and you get this bye, and a team like the Phillies rolls through the wild card.
I told Dunaway that the other day.
Yeah. And they're feeling it right now. They're in a rhythm. Yep. I could be completely wrong. I will say this. The Braves are the best team in baseball. There is no doubt about it. We saw it for 162 games. That lineup is filthy. Starting pitching, though, inexperienced, and the guys that have experience are banged up right now.
Yeah, I told you, Dunaway, you know this, that if I'm a Phillies fan, the way I look at this is like, this went well for us. The Braves, this is if I'm a Phillies fan. I'm not saying this is true.
Right.
If I'm a Phillies fan today, I'm thinking the Braves have gotten a little bit out of rhythm because they've had to sit off for 5-6 days, which you don't normally do.
There is no sport, I think, other than maybe golf, but it's a team sport, that getting a bye and having this much time off is not good for you.
And I played 2 home games, didn't have to burn through my pitching, won those games, got done as quick as I could, and played them at home, didn't have to travel.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Phillies fan, I look at it and say, I kind of like us because of it.
I got a day off and then a travel day, and then we play again. 2 days,
That's
not
right.
bad. A week off is tough.
I kind of like the Braves tomorrow. I think they go up 1-0. If they lose tomorrow, Braves are in serious trouble. So I think it's going to be a really good series, but I do have the Phillies advancing. It ain't a sweep. Well, I don't know what's going on with you, man.
Dunaway, it's clearly.
Dunaway must have got some action on date night
week 6
this week, man. You have completely, like, your momentum from beginning of week. Maybe it was the affirmation day. I don't know what it was.
I don't know what happened.
Affirmation day helped a lot yesterday. I've been needing to hear that from all of you up here for a long
Well,
time.
man, you do an incredible job
Thank
of
you.
getting
Thank
here
you.
early.
Look at Desmond Howard. He's doing the show from the Texas State Fair.
Are they in the kids area?
I don't know where he's doing this live
He's right.
shot from.
They got the soda refill station right over his shoulder.
Put him on a shelf and try to knock him off. You got 3 shots.
It does look like a fake. It looks like a Saturday Night Live bit.
It really does. It really does.
But Maggie is at confirmation retreat this weekend, so we had a couple of getaway nights this week. So it's been a lot of fun.
Okay.
A lot of fun.
Okay.
So let's get to our headlines, Rockstar. It's brought to you by our friends at Moore's Marinade. Hit the big button, and then Brown will tell us about Moore's.
The College Football Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
I tell you what, Lance showed you some newfangled, goofy toaster that you cook a steak in the other day, and people said it's the best steak. Do you believe that, Jim Dunaway?
No, you can't cook anything in 90. Anything you do that's only 90 seconds is not worth doing.
That's right.
Ask Maggie. There we go, Forrester.
And if I can't put Moore's marinade on something I put in that newfangled steak toaster, look at all these photos from Moore's that Scott's showing us. Man, I am starving.
You know, we got some Moore's in the fridge, and I'll bring a Lunchable 2 or 3 times a week. And I've got that barbecue sauce that I put on the Lunchable.
That's really good.
It tops it off. It's perfect.
With Camus there.
Yeah, that's my house right there. Those are steaks from my grill and veggies that had Moore's on it right there. We use a little Moore's and olive oil.
Are you doing steak night tonight?
I don't know. The weather is a little bit iffy tonight.
I think I'm going to do steak night.
Steak night, date night,
a little Moore's, a little New York Butcher Shop.
Yeah, a little love, yes.
Okay.
Well, it's date night, steak night. I love my wife.
I grilled one 2 nights ago. 2 of them, ate one, had another left over. I'll be using that tonight.
Don't forget that buffalo wing sauce from Moore's as well. Adds tangy flavor that keeps you licking your fingers even after the wings are gone. Dip it, drizzle it, slather Moore's buffalo wing sauce on everything you eat. Chicken fingers, burgers, sandwiches, pizza, pasta, tacos, fries, and more. You can see why grill masters like us prefer Moore's marinades and wing sauces. Online, mooresmarinades.com. Also get great recipe ideas and grilling inspiration, mooresmarinades.com.
Okay, so these are Monday's headlines today, almost like the games have already been played. Back when, they used to have newspapers and headlines. I'll start us off this week. Back in the Dunaway Digest, which is a national publication.
It is.
In reverse, horns blow Gabriel. Trumpet Texas return.
God.
Wow.
Jeez.
Blow the Gabriel trumpet. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that space was probably poorly timed by you, Jimmy.
In reverse, horns blow Gabriel. Trumpet Texas return.
Right.
Horns 40, booms 10. Everyone should be jumping on my picks this weekend after my Bears DJ Moore pick last night. Hashtag go Braves. Hashtag roll tide.
Right.
Other stories. Glaucoma study begins. There's a picture of me doing a StreamYard apparently with Cheech and Chong. If you know, you know.
Try finding that in the wild.
And then the other one, host return to manufacturer for checkup. This is starting to read like Men's Health. If you see the sign, it's like the name of the business is Taylor's Made Right. We send LT back, get a checkup. You look under the hood, Taylor's made right there. Taylor's made right.
Okay, I'm confused by that a little bit.
I'm just saying, time for it. We'll get you a checkup. You said you had a checkup earlier this week.
I did.
These are made right.
Yeah, Taylor's made right. This is where you need to get it checked
so
up.
you just hex the hell out of me.
No, Taylor's made right.
Yeah, Taylor's made right, which means you say the checkup's going to go good.
Yeah, made right.
Yeah. The doctor actually tried to call him break, so it's probably bad news.
Oh, they don't do that over the phone. They ask you to come back in for that. If it's a call, you're good.
Well, that could be. Hey, you need to come back in. I just don't like Dunaway jinxing my health.
It's an email.
How am I jinxing your health?
Oh, God. We're going to drop it.
Hey, seeing it clearly this weekend, Lance. It's Dunaway's weekend.
Oh, my gosh.
Who's next?
Who's next, Rocky?
I'll be next because mine sucks this week.
Oh, Rockstar.
Oh, that's not next.
Yep.
It's from the Wolverine whistle. Minnesota got to play some hardball.
That picture on the left still
awful.
mesmerizes me.
He's so white in that picture.
And you got Tim Biakapatuka.
I mean, he should only skin off for showers.
Was that your favorite Michigan player of all time?
Of course, man. You got to love saying, that's the best jersey of all time.
Tim Biakapatuka?
Yeah, my Biakapatuka. You got Madonna and Tim Allen, and you got a little kid being destroyed by a Michigan player.
That's right. That's the way it's going to look when Minnesota plays them.
I like it. Who's in the upper right-hand corner?
That is Madonna. She doesn't look like she used to.
Michigan grad.
No,
And
is
you
she
got
really?
Tim Allen, Michigan grad.
Michigan grad.
I knew that about Tim Allen. I didn't know Madonna.
I don't know
went
if
to
she
school.
graduated. She attended there. She could be on the Brown plan.
Yeah.
Attend and don't get a degree.
All right. Thank you, Rockstar, and the Wolverine whistle.
Yes.
Who's next?
I'll go next. It doesn't matter. Today is October 6th. I don't know how. Hey, rope, tied, and doggy styled, Fresno gets streak ended on Brokeback Mountain.
Where are they playing?
They're in Laramie.
Yeah, they're in Laramie.
Why is the naked cowboy on here?
Hey, he's a cowboy.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Hey, look at Bullet. Bullet gets picked up from boot camp today.
Yeah.
He's creeping up on me right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think he's creeping. He's there.
He's been nipped since. His junk is over with Dr. Rab Stewart.
In a jar.
Over in Ross Bridge. 14 straight wins for Fresno. They're ranked right now, but they're playing a Wyoming team that's pretty legitimate. They're one loss to Texas this year on the road. Fresno's won 14 straight. Last time they lost, October 8th. It's almost been a full calendar year.
Did you know this about this rivalry? That Fresno's won 4 straight against Wyoming, but the last 2 years, they've shut them out. They beat them 30-0 and 17-0. So it's been 2 contests that Wyoming hasn't even scored against Fresno. One in Fresno, one in Wyoming. LT's got Fresno scoring again this weekend. Wyoming's at some points too.
All right, mine comes from the Pac-12, Oregon State. This is the Oregonian. Only fans can watch Oregon State win because it's on the Pac-12 network.
I saw Chris over the chat saying it's not that difficult. It's on Dish. Who's got Dish Network?
People that want to watch Pac-12.
Pac-12 fans do.
Yeah.
I'm a Pac-12 fan.
Could you see that on OnlyFans right there? Oh, Jonathan Smith.
The Oregonian.
He's not going to get a lot of subscribers.
You don't think so?
No.
OnlyFans can watch Oregon State win because it's on the Pac-12 network. Also, in that paper there in the Oregonian, page 2, The Nurse Who Saw the Baby on the Highway Part 2 is going to debut in theaters nationwide.
I
So
guess who, boy, it's going to,
You're not going to
be nobody there.
Yeah,
No.
so
It is going theaters?
No, Joe.
No, okay.
So these are joke headlines.
Okay, my bad.
And also, a Birmingham man tries to shoot Starlink satellite out of the sky because his internet fails. Could you imagine if Lance got Starlink and his internet fails? He's still fired up in the sky. Stupid internet!
I haven't done it yet. I have not pulled the trigger on Starlink or AT&T, but I'm going to do it soon.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm just wasting money with DirecTV.
That is our headlines today. Appreciate all the suggestions that I get from friends and family up here who try to help me out with mine every week. It's been a good year for me on the headlines.
What's happening?
I don't know.
Damn, our man Chris, I thought I was wasting money.
He says he's got Dish, DirecTV, and YouTube TV?
Chris, how can you have all those?
Holy crap.
You can.
I bet he looks like he's at NASA.
I mean, Chris, are you ESPN and we don't know it?
Jeez.
My goodness. Troy says Dish does have the best lineup, but they are way too damn expensive. I thought Dish was the great value alternative
Yeah,
to
I did
DirecTV.
too. I thought DirecTV was the most expensive.
So when I went away from DirecTV and went to DirecTV Stream, they gave you a date where they actually make it quite easy for you to return the equipment. But then I said, well, so are you guys going to come out and get the satellite? They're like, nah, you keep the satellite.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I really don't ever need it in my life again.
I want it off my
I
roof.
want it off my property. Well, see, it's over kind of in trees and a stand.
Okay.
It's a little bit hidden, but I still don't want it just there. What do you do about that? They're like, no, sir, you keep that forever.
Yeah, I wonder.
In the 70s, people used to throw it on the banks of the Cabo River.
So, Chris, help me out here.
I got to get it out of the ground. That's my problem.
On Dish, the problem with DirecTV is they charge per box. And I have got a lot of boxes in my house, and they charge $10 per box. I'm wondering how many TVs Chris has, and if Dish Network charges per box.
That's why you go DirecTV Stream.
Yeah, hit us up privately, and we'll get to that coming up to answer those TV questions for you. That's our headlines today, part of the show being brought to you by our friends at the University of Montevallo. If you're looking for a great place for your son and daughter to go to school, make it Montevallo. You'll learn that the price point is fantastic. If you just sit there and compare it to other schools, like schools, bigger schools, smaller schools, you'll find out Montevallo has a great tuition price point. I know that because I'm a parent. I went to school there as well. I'm an alumnus of Montevallo. 23 NCAA Division II fully funded scholarship sports and a lot more. Check it all out, montevallo.edu, and schedule an in-person tour, montevallo.edu.
Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090. hemphillservices.com. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails. And don't forget about that 29-degree man-sized drafts. It's Twin Peaks at the Patton Creek Shopping Centers.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to the Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Milton Mann and others were wanting us to talk baseball with Ferman. We'll do you one better. Buster Olney talks baseball with us coming up at 11 o'clock. My friend's still surprised that Buster Olney was on our show every week.
Well,
they love Buster. They love baseball, and they're like, it still amazes me that Buster's on with you guys every freaking week.
You know what your friend just told you?
What?
You guys aren't big enough for Buster.
Well, not, but Buster's not a big timer.
That's what surprises them, that Buster Olney's on our show every week. and he joins us at the top of the hour. Part of the show today being brought to you by our friends at HydroLive, LT.
Yeah, HydroLive, I'm telling you, the weekend is here. Last Friday, Nurse Lacey came in studio, and that's the great thing about HydroLive. If you can't make it to one of their incredible locations, they can actually send a nurse out to your home or business, IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. New location in Greystone, one in Homewood. They're open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mention Next Round at checkout. You're going to get 20% off all their services. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at HydroLive Therapy. For more information, hydrolivetherapy.com.
In our next segment, Buster and Rockstar's Playhouse in the same segment. Trash, and then we'll make our picks at the end of the show. But right here, we're going to run through some of the sound of the weekend coming up in college football that Forster has for us. Boy, if you're in Texas, can you imagine a better way to spend your Thursday night than the Jimbo Fisher radio show?
It'll probably only last 15 minutes, fast as he talks.
From right there, Rudy's Texas Barbecue.
That place looks like it smells amazing, though. I love the smell of a barbecue restaurant.
Boy, it looks cheap.
No, there is no better smell, though, when you walk in a barbecue restaurant and they get that hickory going and it's smoking that.
I love the smell of a barbecue restaurant. They spend so much on an average coach, they can't have a good place to actually do the coach's show.
Okay, so let's see if we can guess what how he's going to describe this game this weekend. Alabama, Texas A&M, he describes it how?
Oh, well, he's already described it once this week as a double whammy game. I'm going to say it's a double whammy game because you would get a loss to the West, get lost to the overall in the SEC. It's a double whammy game because if you lose this one, you lose basically 2 games because it's a double whammy game.
Yeah, I think it's slobberknocker. It's slobberknocker. Every time we go out there, we were playing our ass off. They're playing their asses off. He's a great coach. I mean, we're friends. We go way back. And this is going to be a game that maybe it decides something big come November, December.
I think LT maybe just a tad closer. Here's Jimbo Fisher.
This has an old SEC. This has a conference feel of 2 rugged, salty defenses. Could be going at one.
Yeah, I mean,
points could be at a premium.
You're going to have 2 offensive lines that are big and physical, and 2 defensive lines that are big and physical. And I'm going to tell you what, it ain't going to be for the faint of heart up front. It's going to happen. It's going to be a grown man game.
Yeah.
It's going to be grown man ball, and the secondaries and the receivers and the backs. It's all going to be that way too. This is big boy ball. This is what it's like. And size, speed, length, athleticism, coaching, players, talent, athleticism, physicality.
Other words.
Get ready. Should be good.
All of those.
Okay, Coach.
God bless that guy.
Just keep saying words, Coach. We got to fill 60 minutes here.
God bless that guy. I don't know his name. That has to do that show every week. Here's Nick Saban talking yesterday or Wednesday after practice about whether or not he can see the influence of Bobby Petrino as he watches tape of Texas A&M. Here's Nick.
When you've looked at Texas A&M games this year, do you see a lot of signs of Bob Petrino's influence on the offense as opposed to what they were doing offensively last year?
Yeah, I think you can see it, but I also think that there's philosophically some of the things that Jimbo likes to do. I don't think those guys think that differently, but there are some things that Bobby's done in the past that you see them doing now that they've added to what they do, and it's all very effective.
When you guys watch it, have you been able to tell a difference in their offense?
The only thing I've been able to tell the difference is scoreboard.
Yeah.
They're scoring points.
Yeah.
I mean, sans the Miami game, and again, I think Miami's really, really good. They're scoring points. They've got a ton of playmakers. You're down to your second-string quarterback, but I think it's one of the best backup quarterback situations in college football. But, yeah, I mean, the offense, it looks crisp. It looks a little more innovative. You didn't see the wrinkles the last couple of years that you're seeing this year.
They seem to push it downfield a little bit more, which they didn't do in the Jimbo's old system.
Yeah, and I think this is interesting. I think we'll see some trickeration from Bobby Petrino tomorrow. I think we'll see one trick play.
Don't you feel like trick plays, though, Brownie, is usually for the team that doesn't think they can line up and beat somebody?
I mean, I guess you could look at it that way, but I mean, I'm not saying Lance is crazy here. I mean, you could probably see a trick play, and maybe the difference in the game. I
haven't said that in years, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking though. Yeah. But when you see that,
I mean, when you see it 3 times a game, like Boise State, I know Brown likes to point that out.
Yeah,
but you see teams that do it like multiple times in a game. That is, Gus Malzahn did it in one Iron Bowl. I forgot which Iron Bowl it was. But they were outmatched, and they did it 2 or 3 times.
They did it 2009 with Gene Chizik early in the game and got up on Alabama. They had to come back and win it. I'm sure it's happened other times.
I was going to say my one regret so far this football season is A&M's played Alabama and Auburn now, and we have not had the guy ask questions, Rockstar, that sounds like a pair of overalls.
What do you think they're going to do offensively, schematically?
That is my favorite guy in the SEC. I don't know if he's quit his gig or what.
Kentucky and Missouri's big games. After I tell you about our friends at Alabama Power, manage your account on the go with Alabama Power's new mobile app. The new app features easy, safe, and reliable ways for you to access your account, check your energy use, and set alerts so you're the first to know when power's on or off, when you're home or away. Available for both Apple and Android devices. Simply search Alabama Power in your app store or visit alabamapower.com/mobile app to download it today. Mark Stoops, we say it a lot, but biggest game of his career?
If he wins it.
Yeah. If he loses it, it's just a normal year.
Yeah, and I think Kentucky fans are like, damn, we lost that game. We're about to roll into basketball season. We're still relevant in football. Everything's good. He wins this game. The whole landscape of college football completely changes.
I mean, if he wins this, do y'all think he can stick the landing and get them to Atlanta?
I do not. But I mean, if he wins this, I don't even know that he has to get him to Atlanta. I just think getting over this hump would make him a hero.
If they win this, Devin Leary's going to have to play good, and he's going to have to make plays. And watching him 2 years ago, he was the ACC Offensive Player of the Year. Got injured last year. Hasn't been asked to do a lot with what Ray Davis is doing right now, and he's got 3 really good wide receivers. My point here is if for whatever reason he makes those plays, they pull off this massive upset, they are going to have so much confidence moving forward. And I know the big game on the schedule would be Alabama coming to Lexington, but if they can beat Georgia and Athens, they're going to believe they can beat Alabama and Lexington.
If they win this one.
But guess what? They ain't winning this game.
If they win this one, Dunaway, I know you're seeing clearly week 6. I'm seeing clearly week 7. The easiest money in the entire world will be Missouri, whatever they're catching next week coming to Lexington.
If Missouri loses to LSU.
It doesn't matter.
What if Missouri, Kentucky both win this weekend?
Oh, my God. Game day. Game day's in Lexington, right? I mean, have they already announced where they're going?
I don't think they have. Here's Mark Stoops on the opportunity ahead for Big Blue Nation.
I think it goes without saying the challenge to go on the road to Athens to play Georgia. What a great opportunity. I think everybody knows the players that they have, and it's certainly a uniquely talented football team across the board. There's a lot of things that we can improve on, and we have to concentrate on that. I think it does give us confidence to show you what we can do when we put it together, but it has to motivate us to work on the areas where we're falling short because we're going to need to play a complete game here this week.
I will tell you that I could grow that hair. That hair, I could have that style if I wanted to.
Don't do it.
Yeah, not a great look.
Yeah, my hair could grow that long in those same areas that he has it.
Yeah, I'm looking at where you're shaved right there. That's basically where he's got hair.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Dr. B, I probably would do the almost
tight buzz.
Yeah, tight buzz, not a beard. I don't like a beard, and then a little stubblish.
Yeah,
kind of the Jason Statham look.
Maggie likes it when I grow my. She likes the hair to grow out like Feinbaum and Span. I hate that look, so I try I try to cut it down.
She really wants the Feinbaum look?
Well, I don't know if she wants the Feinbaum look, but she says, "I like it when you let it grow out a little bit more." And I'm like, God, I'd like to shave it every day if I had time.
Yeah. Yeah, what if you told her the same thing, though?
That I wanted her to look like Feinbaum?
Look like Linda Feinbaum?
No, that's it. Feinbaum's look is an 80s look.
Yeah, I just don't, no offense to Paul, I just don't like a lot of hair on the side.
I don't know how Paul can take offense to that.
Yeah.
Or Mark Stoops.
One more, Eli Drinkwitz. Now, see, he's downplaying how important this game is for Missouri, but...
Hey, he is the guy that is walking behind the family carrying everything to the beach.
Yes. Sir, can I speak with you about a home alone?
He's got sand buckets. He's got a cooler. His wife's bitching at him. The kids don't respect him. The wife doesn't respect him.
Sir, when we rented our chairs, you told me to be on the front row. We're on row 3.
Phil Connors.
Great news. I've run the numbers, and the arm is available at 3.8%.
There is nothing worse for a man than their wife calling them a loser. And he looks like the guy where she just looks at him and, oh, my God, you're such a loser.
Here's Elia hoping to be a winner this weekend against LSU.
I mean, it just means the next SEC game. I mean, to be honest, it's really not any more significant than that one way or the other. It's a great opportunity because you're going to get to play in front of a sold-out stadium, and it's an opportunity for our program to showcase itself and our fans to showcase itself. We got a ton of recruits coming. There's a lot of good buzz, but the reality for this team is it's really just the next game in a string of 12 opportunities, and we need to maximize our opportunity. We need to be better than we were last week, but it's not going to define our season one way or the other. There's still a lot of challenges out there, irregardless of how this game plays out. So to make it more than
it is boring.
It's a big game. It's a big game.
If you win it, though, people look at Missouri differently.
Yeah.
If you lose it, they don't look at them differently. That's around the league as we get ready for football. Buster Olney coming up on the other side. Tell us about Woodhouse Day Spa LT as we work our way to the final hour of the show and talk to Buster.
Over 70 options on that menu at Woodhouse Day Spa, located at the Summit Shopping Centers, nail services, waxing, great massages, facials. You can order that special person in your life, that gift card online, 24/7, woodhouse.spas.birmingham.com. That was too many.
That was a lot of
woodhousespas.com. woodhousespas.birmingham.com. How about this? How about I pull the website?
Why don't you pull the website?
Yeah, I try to do that on the fly, not working. But, hey, look, great place. Go see Stuart, Casey, all the fine folks up there. Tell them the next round sent you. Again, gift cards are a perfect gift for that special person if you're going to be watching football all weekend. How about send the wife or girlfriend to the Woodhouse Day Spa? Again, tell them the next round sent you. And that website is actually birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, War Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali. There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got two great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons. It's time for a little NBA basketball in Birmingham. Legacy Arena, October 12th. Pelicans and Rockets in town, and you need to get your tickets right now. Call them up, 205-719-0850, and book your NBA tickets in Birmingham. 205-719-0850, or just simply go to birminghamsquadron.com. When the Pelicans and Rockets play in Birmingham, you'll get to see local players like Herb Jones and Kyra Lewis Jr., Jabari Smith, as well as superstars Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. If you become a Squadron season ticket holder, you get complimentary tickets to this huge event right here in the Magic City. Again, get more details and buy those tickets right now. BirminghamSquadron.com. Remember, this NBA preseason game sold out in Birmingham last year, so don't get left outside. Get those tickets now. 205-719-0850 or BirminghamSquadron.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
I'm waiting for this one all day. Buster Olney on the show. Braves fans are chomping at the bit to hear what Buster thinks about this series with Philadelphia. It is set up, and Buster is ready to join us now to talk a little post-season baseball, brought to you by.
He's brought to you by MyBookie.ag. They are back with that 110% sign-on bonus. You make your initial deposit. They match it up to... Or no, they match it at 110%. It is free money. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. 110% sign-on bonus. Buster's on the road because it's the postseason. Welcome in, Buster. How are you?
Well, I'm actually back home in Montana, recovering from doing that series with the Marlins and the Phillies. And I will tell you that there is a suit that I wore into the Phillies clubhouse after they eliminated the Marlins. I think if you did a blood alcohol content test of that, it would be 0.35 because those guys partied hard after they beat the Marlins. They were all fired up. I have to dry out the suit. I took it to the dry cleaners yesterday, and they wouldn't accept it because it was too wet. So I have to dry it out. I'm hanging it up outside, and I'll take it in again later today.
Outside of the NHL playoffs, I mean, Major League Baseball, once we get to the postseason, so unpredictable, so many good teams. The Braves are the best team in baseball. There is no doubt. But, Buster, I have this weird feeling the Phillies, with this momentum, with, the Braves' experienced pitchers banged up with the index fingers on both guys. Strider and Elder don't have postseason experience, really, outside of the one appearance from Strider last year where he got roughed up. I've just got a feeling the Phillies have momentum here, and I think they're going to get the Braves. Again, Braves' best team in baseball, but I think this is going to be a really interesting series.
I do too. It's going to be the best series in the postseason. It's really this is Ali Frazier for baseball. You can make a case as these are the best two teams in baseball, and it's too bad that it's a best of 5 rather than a best of 7. And I completely agree with your assessment of the Phillies. I walked out of there saying any team is going to be hard-pressed to beat these guys. They clearly are on this incredible mission. After coming so close to winning the World Series last year, they come within 2 games of doing that. They line up their pitching to get ready for October, beginning of August. They began to work their veteran starters and, a 6-man rotation. So Zach Wheeler got extra rest. Aaron Nola got extra rest. Their bullpen got extra rest. And Zach Wheeler the other day looked so good. He was in a total rhythm against the Marlins. Nola looked good in game 2. They've got their pitching lined up. And, it felt like every week when I was on with you guys, you'd ask a question from a Braves fan, hey, should they be concerned about the pitching? Should they be concerned about their pitching? And the answer as we start in October is yes, 100% against that Phillies lineup. I think the Phillies go into this as favorites.
Oh, as favorites, Buster. 104 games. We played the regular season for a reason, don't we?
Well, and I say favorites in my mind, and I'm the idiot who picked the Padres to win the World Series before the year started. I think Vegas probably still has the Braves as favorites, but in a short series with the momentum coming off that Marlins series, all the experience on that Phillies roster, the fact that their bullpen is stronger than the Braves bullpen on paper, to me, makes the Philadelphia Phillies the favorite.
How does a layoff? This is the sport I played growing up, and we would hit and practice in the fall over Christmas break. We would play doubleheader pickup games when we didn't have games. I mean, we played all the time to stay in rhythm. How do the big leaguers that get this bye like these days off?
And I think that's a question. It's interesting. I think you answer it it's answered after the result is over. Because if they win, then they're going to say, boy, it was such a great thing to have that rest. And if they lose, then we're going to point to the layoff as being, boy, maybe the Braves lineup got out of rhythm. The other day, I asked AJ Hinch, the manager of the Tigers now, and in the past he was the manager of the Astros. Look, if you are running a team, which do you prefer? And he said, there's no doubt you want the extra days, not only because you avoid the extra round of playoffs and the potential of getting knocked out. He said, but you can line your guys up. So the Braves, do have that advantage. And I think that the fact that they open in Atlanta with their crowd rather than that nuts crowd in Philadelphia, will help them get right back into the rhythm of things. And their lineup is so powerful. Everything that I just said about the difference in the pitching staff, it might get knocked out. It might be obsolete because their lineup is so deep. That's why I compare it to Ali Frazier, because it's two heavyweight lineups, 1 through 9. I don't know if you guys have seen this kid Rojas playing, rookie for the Phillies. That guy is a monster. Like he is a beast in terms of how great he is defensively, how good he is offensively, and he's probably the young player on the Phillies that we know least about at this point.
Buster Olney is with us each week, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-on bonus of 110%. That is free money this weekend from MyBookie.ag. Code next round. In the other half of the National League, Arizona and the Dodgers are playing. Clayton Kershaw is on the hill tonight. There used to be a time where we would say, boy, Clayton Kershaw's got to get that postseason win. Do you think he has completely shaken that from his mind? I know he's a mentally tough dude, but that scar tissue was pretty deep with him in the postseason.
I think he has shaken that part of it, and let's face it. I mean, that's when his legacy is written as a major league pitcher. I think we're going to remember as being maybe the most dominant regular season pitcher in the history of baseball. But we have to qualify it that way because of what you're talking about. He's gotten beaten up in the postseason. Do you remember when the Dodgers won the World Series in 2020 in that COVID-shortened season? The look of relief on his face when they finally won. He's out in the bullpen. He raised his arms over his head like, oh, it's over. I think that was real. I think the bigger question are all the accumulation of all the physical problems that he's had. The last 2 months was the first time that we heard about shoulder issues for him. And yes, he's got experience. He's learned how to change speeds. He pitches to both sides of the plate in a way that he didn't earlier in his career. But in the postseason, it'll be interesting to see if that becomes a factor. Dodgers are well aware of that. When we talked to Dave Roberts recently, the Dodgers manager, he talked about how they're fully prepared to go with this platoon of relievers around this very thin group of starting pitchers that they have. Kershaw going in game 1, Bobby Miller in game 2.
I love this Dodger team. And how different would the narrative be? Injuries are part of it. But if Walker Buehler, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, Julio Urias didn't get in the trouble that he got in, Gavin Lux never goes down in the preseason, how different would the narrative be in this postseason if all those guys are healthy?
Yep, I agree with you. And I also, it was interesting because normally if you go in a postseason and say the Dodgers basically have 3 starters, and those 2 that we mentioned plus Lance Lynn, and relying heavily on the relief, you'd kind of throw it out and you'd throw them out and you'd say there's no way they can get through this. But here's the thing. They've been preparing for this for a long time. When Julio Urias was taken off the field, he's under investigation under baseball's domestic violence policy. The Dodgers at that point knew that they were going to have an issue with the starting pitching. And so they began to plan. They began to, manipulate their pitching staff in such a way that, that they were going to attack this rather than look at it as a potential weakness. And your point about loving this year's Dodger team, it's so interesting because, that group of players year after year after year have been contenders for the World Series. You talk to Dave Roberts, you talk to Freddie Freeman, you talk to Mookie Betts, and they talk about how much fun they've had this year. They love this year's Dodger team. It's interesting. I haven't been around the Diamondbacks as much, but I don't think there's any question. The Braves culture is unbelievable. Phillies culture, extraordinary, led by Kyle Schwarber. And the Dodgers culture this year has been incredible. Everybody on that team talking about how much fun they're having with each other. So that's going to be part of the narrative in the National League playoffs. Whatever team comes out of that, we're going to be talking about its great culture.
I'm worried about the Orioles. Great story to have the best wins in the American League, but the Rangers they just beat my AAA Tampa Bay Rays like that. And I think being tested in that American League West this year, Rangers, Astros, Mariners, Angels, I mean, it's a pretty good division there. This Texas team looks like it's ripe going in to take on Baltimore for a potential upset there.
And I'm guessing your reference to the AAA Rays, you were referring to the size of the crowd, base that they had there, which was just ugly.
Yeah.
Look, I was on with Tony Kornheiser this morning, and I mentioned to him when I look at the Rangers, and when you look at the guys who are on that team, Marcus Semien, a tough pro, Corey Seager the same way, Bruce Bochy, 3 championship rings. This is the Rangers to me are like the elementary school bully coming for your lunch money.
Yep.
Like they're not messing around, and they have a really good offense. Nathan Eovaldi with his history in the postseason. Max Scherzer today is going to throw to hitters to see if he can make a start in the series. I agree with you. I saw the other day in Game 1 for the Marlins players, sort of them being put back on their feet, all these young guys who are in the postseason for the first time. It's a thing. And now you've got all these Orioles players who are in the postseason for the first time. Bradish, who's starting Game 1, how will he respond? How will Gunnar Henderson, who's one of those guys who tries harder and harder and harder, how will that translate in a postseason series? With the Rangers, Corey Seager, Semien, they have all this experience. I agree with you. I think that's going to be something that the Orioles are going to have to overcome. And maybe playing the first 2 games in Camden Yards will help them do that.
You have been warning us, Buster, if Houston can make the postseason, they are extremely dangerous. Well, last I checked, here they are. They're in the postseason. You still feel the same way, I would guess, after watching them sweep that series.
Yep, I picked them to make it to the World Series. And it's interesting that the guy who might be the biggest threat to keeping them from doing that is a former Astro, Carlos Correa, who you guys watched him in that series, in which they beat the Toronto Blue Jays. He's the closest thing this generation has to Derek Jeter in October, to Reggie Jackson. I mean, Carlos loves the postseason. He's so comfortable. He makes that amazing play, picks up the ground ball, throws home to cut down Bo Bichette. He's the guy who put on the pickoff play when they caught Vladimir Guerrero Jr. the other day. He's raking. He just seems energized by October. He's not afraid of the big stage, and he's been on it so often. Dusty Baker was asked, the Astros manager was asked a lot of questions yesterday about Carlos, and he said, hey, it's not the Astros against Carlos Correa. I think in some ways it is. Because if the Twins can find a way to beat the Astros, Carlos Correa is going to be right in the middle of it.
Milkman would like for us to ask for your MVP pick. I don't know that you have a vote, or if you're at liberty to disclose it if you do.
For National League or MVP?
I think he's a Braves fan, so I would guess National League.
Yeah, so I would pick, and I don't have a vote. I haven't voted actually in the MVP race since 1995. If I were to have a vote, I would pick Acuna.
Yeah.
I think he's been the best player overall. I get the defensive metrics, play in favor of Mookie Betts. I think there will be voters who will look at the analytic argument for Betts and they will vote for him. I think Ronald is going to win it because of the sheer dominance of his offensive production.
All right. Buster would have voted for Ronald Acuna. I presume that's what Milkman wanted you to say there. All right, Buster, enjoy the playoff games. We'll see you again next week whenever your schedule allows. You just let us know.
Man, I cannot wait for this Braves-Philly series. It is going to be epic.
You should let them know Dunaway has called a sweep.
No. I just think the Braves win the series.
You've been saying
you
sweep.
said sweep.
Yeah. They could sweep them.
He is the ultimate hex, Buster.
It's only 3 games. It's only 3 games.
Well, I know. I think I picked the Padres to win the World Series. So what the heck do I know?
That's true. Thank you, Buster. Have a great weekend.
See you guys.
All right, take care. Buster with us each week on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. We love him all year long. We used to not be able to have Buster on in the playoffs for budgetary reasons, but in the radio days, it's great to have him in the playoffs now. MyBookie.ag, code next round. When you sign on at MyBookie.ag, get that sign-on bonus of 110% at MyBookie.ag with code next round.
Still a lot to get to in this segment, including Rockstar's Playhouse. It's brought to you this hour by our friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com. Just wonderful folks down there. Sterling and his crew can hook you up with Southern fried chicken, perfect for your tailgates tonight for high school football, tomorrow, or if you're watching the game. Southern fried chicken, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and a lot more, champyschicken.com. And LT, tell us about our friends at Bromberg's as well.
Yeah, since 1836, family owned and operated. If you're looking to pop the question, go see the Diamond Specialist. 2 great locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's. You can shop online as well. Check out all their stuff at brombergs.com.
All right, getting ready for Rockstar's Playhouse. Again, if you're keeping up with state bets today, I've got the Braves in that series. I've got Ray Davis, Kentucky running back, under 67.5 yards against the great Kirby Smart in Georgia. I've got Alabama straight up, and I've got Notre Dame giving a -6.5. So a record-tying 4 state bets on the line over the next few days here coming up on our state bets. It is time now, though, for Rockstar's Playhouse. It is brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. If you're looking for that free no-cost roof inspection, the guy to give it is Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Even a small 20-second hailstorm could damage your roof and cause damage. You need it inspected. 205-542-3531. 542-3531. It's Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing.
Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play. Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play.
Let's have some fun.
Oh, that sounds swell. Oh, yeah. Boys, it's time for another bad impression and the greatest wrestler of all time, Macho Man Randy Savage.
The Macho Man, I love him.
I'm here to talk a little football matchups with you today. Oh, yeah. But first, let's get an update on old Macho Man. A lot of folks think he passed a few years ago. Oh, not true. Oh, no. Macho, he's been laying low and blending in. He even opened a bakery in Homewood. Oh, yeah, savages. Ooh, smiley cookies for days. Oh, yeah. Which one of you was Jim?
That's me, man. I'm a big fan.
Oh, yeah. I've seen you lost some weight. Oh, yeah. Looking good. Looking slender. Macho could do some damage to you, brother. Macho could snap into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah. Oh, let's get to some matchups, all right, here. Microphone's all wet now. Texas A&M's playing Alabama. Ooh, this game's going to be Jimbo throwing flying elbow drops all over Saban and his goons. Oh, yeah. But Saban could counter with an Apache cutter before Jimbo dodges and performs a lasso from El Paso. Ooh, damn. Saban better not fall behind early. Oh, man, because if he does, for the rest of the game, he's going to be playing catch-up. Oh, yeah. That's right, Macho brought Pops. Props, oh, yeah. Oh, wait.
What?
I thought I heard a brown bandit.
Yeah, he was here earlier.
I jokes from the props box. Yes. Sorry I had to borrow that. Now Macho has to head back to Miss Elizabeth because she's threatened him with a little keister bounce. And her finishing move is always the old camel clutch. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Time to feel the excitement, brother.
Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play. Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play.
Wait, are you telling me was it the camel clutch? Is that what that was?
Yeah,
that's one of the great wrestling moves.
The Iron Sheik, I believe that was his finisher there.
And then the old keister bounce. That's a bad one.
Yeah.
Depending on who's doing it.
Yeah.
I noticed Macho Man had to fight really hard not to become Bill Cosby.
Well, he started losing it, and his microphone became very, very moist.
Yes. Bill Cosby was fighting to get out right there.
So I was taking some stuff to the crawl space on Wednesday, and I do this all the time. I have a problem. with a head. I started going into voices, and I started doing a Macho Man, just taking the stuff, and I was like, okay, I think I can do something for this Friday. And then I was like, but I can't do more than a minute of it because it absolutely destroys my throat.
Yeah, it gotta kill you.
Yeah, so that's where the inspiration came. Taking stuff to the old crawl space.
Do you have to perform anywhere this weekend?
No, I am off this weekend, so it's 100% kid duty this weekend.
Yeah, oh yeah. Ooh. Miss Elizabeth taking that camel clutch on the road.
Oh my, got that kung fu grip like she's landing a helicopter. Paints a visual, don't you?
It takes a second.
Out of control.
It takes a second.
It's a little bit.
Oh, I think I have a fever. All right, here we go. Trash in the next segment of the show today being brought to you by the great folks at Hemphill LT, man. Tell us about Hemphill.
Hey, Kevin wants to know, is taking stuff to the crawl space a euphemism for something?
Oh, yeah. Taking shit to the crawl space.
205-229-2090. That's the number. Adam, Chad, Andrew, make sure you tell them the next round sent you. It's hard to stop a train. Right now for the month of October, 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free Wi-Fi upgrade, 10-year labor on any system replacement, and a $69 fall tune-up. Call them today, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the next round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
The Next Round golf cart is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Card for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store. Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
I'm no financial guru, but that's a big difference, my brother. That's a big difference, brother.
You did. Jim thinks he's got a fever.
I do.
Cowbell?
I mean,
no. I mean,
what a weekend for you. You're seeing every game clearly. Now you're going to get sick.
Yeah. Is COVID still a thing?
You know what? When I got a physical a couple of days ago, I was talking to the nurse, and I was like, so the place I go to has got 5,000 active patients. And she told me that they're seeing like 3 to 5 COVID cases a week.
Well, that's not that bad.
Yeah. So she said and she said, knock on wood here, you don't say it. She said this strain's not bad at all.
Yeah. Andrew said he had it this week. All right, here we go. Trash in a second. Couple of things I want to get to here. Maggie always hates when I turn my hat around back.
I don't think, you're a little too old to do it, but I actually.
The guy that wears bucket hats?
Yeah. I actually don't think it looks that bad on you, to be honest with you, Jimmy D. Now, that looks ridiculous. Rockstar, do you agree that it doesn't look that bad on Dunway with his hat on?
Doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's your look.
Greg from Pell City's here.
That and the flat bill don't work for you.
Oh, I love the flat bills, too. I don't have any anymore.
Yeah, but you lose the logo if you put your hat on backwards.
I do.
We
Okay.
can't lose that logo.
Champy's Chicken brings you this hour. Champy'sChicken.com. Sterling, the crew, waiting for a great weekend. Good place to go watch Friday night football, date night, great bar there. Go enjoy that. Champy'sChicken.com. And also, this hour of the show being brought to you by our friends at A+. Before Brownie tells us about A+, a couple of great moments. Well, one good moment, one bad moment for college football this week. First, the good moment.
Yep.
Yesterday, we told you about Tez Walker, right?
That's right.
North Carolina walks into Mac Brown's office and gets the news. Watch this reaction. He's been ineligible. Mac says, "You're eligible." And the excitement and the long hug ensues there.
Wow.
A few tears, an emotional moment.
Cool, man. I mean, I hate it for that kid. I don't know his story. Don't really know that much about him except he's a heck of a player.
I don't know the NCAA jacked this up.
I mean, the NCAA's they were so stodgy and stood their ground so long, and they basically suspended the kid for a month. I mean, it's just so stupid.
Yep.
I don't know why we need the NCAA. I just
Me either.
have no earthly idea why that agency still even exists.
But here comes Tez back for an unbeaten North Carolina
I know.
team just in time for the good games for them. Watch out for them. On the flip side, Arkansas's offense has been what so far?
Pedestrian.
Not good. Who's their offensive coordinator? Dan Enos is. Dan Enos confirmed now that he was emailing students who were talking crap at him and emailing him.
Are you kidding?
In fact, screen grabs here that have now been confirmed. This guy writes to Daniel Enos, "Hey, I just wanted you to know that I'm available to call fourth downs for y'all if y'all need it, and y'all don't have to pay me millions. What a disgrace." Dan Enos writes back, and this has been confirmed. It's really him. "What would you call?" ? He wrote back, "A quarterback sneak. This isn't hard, Dan." Several students, it's been confirmed now on his university email that Dan Enos was emailing back and forth with students who were criticizing his play call.
Student could have, a better crackback would have been call a real estate agent.
What would you call a real estate agent for you?
Yeah, I will never understand this. Like, we've been doing this long enough that it's very obvious when somebody in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room or on Twitter is just trying to get a rise out of us, right?
Yeah. And if you attack, like, I won't even mention it over there, but if you, like, attack me social media and I see it, and it's like I view it over the top and I even think about doing it, I just mute them and I'm done. Never respond.
Tell us about A+, someone we responded to when it was time for Brownie's bathroom to look better.
They were not muted, Dunaway. I
They were
responded to them.
unmuted.
They were unmuted. Hey, it is my people at A+ Tile Home Remodeling. My wife and I wanted to redo our master bath. Scotty is showing you some photos of that. And the before, it was functional. We weren't crazy about it. Honestly, we wanted the darker colors. So she scoured the internet, Jennifer did, and she found Brad Bell. He is the absolute best in the business at this. He does specializes master bath and in the kitchens, and that is where you get your money back when you go to sell your house. Master bath and kitchen. A+ Tile Home Remodeling. We gave him our vision. We said, look, we just don't like all this white. He goes, listen, I got you, man. So he does all the darker tones, just updated the bathroom, give it a good fresh look. We absolutely love it. Lance liked it so much. He's like, hey, you think Brad would do my house? I said, of course he would, Lance. Lance was the exact opposite. Darker bathroom, wanted it lighter. That just shows you Brad's not just locked into one way of doing it. He's going to do it the way you envision it. His crews were timely, efficient, clean. They did great work for both of us. We absolutely love it. If you're even thinking about the kitchen or the master bath, Brad Bell is your guy. 205-422-1758, anywhere in Alabama. 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord! Lord, Jesus! Oh, Lord! Oh, Jesus! What you doing, Terry?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Call them today, 205-815-9200. You can always go online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Okay, Dunaway, you tell me which one was your favorite growing up in the 80s.
What?
I said, Dunaway, tell me which one was your favorite growing up in the 80s.
I'm sorry. I just thought you ran the words together a little bit. I was trying to hear what you said.
Lonnie Anderson, Morgan Fairchild, Linda Gray, Donna Mills, or Nicolette Sheridan?
It was Nicolette Sheridan.
I think she was my favorite, too.
Yeah,
I thought Lonnie Anderson was always overrated.
Yep.
Like, I think outside of her rack, I don't know what the redeeming quality was.
Well, let me see. It was WKRP in Cincinnati on the far left, right?
Yep.
Don't know what the center one was.
Morgan Fairchild.
Don't know what the next two
Falcon
were.
Crest.
No, the middle was Dallas, right?
Linda Gray Dallas.
She was JR's wife on Dallas.
I didn't watch any of those shows.
You didn't watch Dallas?
Sue Ellen Ewing.
Dallas was a good show.
That was a good show.
Morgan Fairchild was actually Chandler's mom. Was she not Chandler's mom on
Friends?
Somebody's mom on
much
Friends.
later on.
I'll tell you this, Dallas, if you redid Dallas as like an HBO show or AMC or Netflix.
Because they tried it on TNT.
But it would be incredible. That premise with
I agree.
Over the top.
Yeah.
It would be
It basically would be Succession with oil rather than...
And Larry Hagman, I think he won Emmys and Golden Globes for his portrayal of Jerry Ewing. But he would be next. He'd be Walter White, Tony Soprano level with the writing today.
But easily of all those looks, even today, the one on the far right stands out.
And that's Nicolette Sheridan from Knots Landing. The other right in front of her is Donna Mills from Knots Landing. Anyway, how about this? Lifetime has got a big 80s themed surprise in store for the holidays. As the 10-hole for the holiday movie slate, Lifetime will air Ladies of the 80s, A Divas Christmas. So, filmed earlier this year, movie follows 5 soap opera divas as they reunite to shoot the final Christmas episode of their long-running Sudster. Now, the producer, Alex Burns, and director, Neil Taylor, who happen to be old college friends, do their best to keep things on the rails. But as the ladies come together, old rivalries resurface and threaten to tear the production apart. With the show nearly canceled before it even begins due to the ladies' famous diva behavior, they reluctantly agree to set aside their differences and past secrets to, quote, act as if they still love each other when old sparks reunite between Alex and Nell. Now, the ladies become eager to play Cupid and conspire to bring the couple together. This sounds like one of the worst plots in the history of plots.
I would agree.
Hey, Goose says, is Yellowstone not just Dallas with land instead of oil?
Yeah, but their leading lady needs to be decapitated.
Yeah, that's what you say. I love her, man. She's fantastic. And
that's why I couldn't watch the show.
Yeah.
I watched the first one. I was like, I really like this, but is that lady on there all the time? And Lance was like, oh, her role only gets bigger.
Yeah, they take them to the train station.
Yeah.
Rip in real life would have taken her to the train station.
I could not watch it. I told Jennifer, I was like, I like that, but I cannot put up with that lady.
Well, it's why I gave up Justified. Our buddy Tom Luganville, when we talk a little entertainment at Spitting Lugs, he's like, what did you think about the new reinvented Justified? And I was like, Timothy Oliphant's daughter ran me off after an episode.
Yeah, but you know what? She disappears. And I gave up on it too. No, I gave up. Yeah, but there was another thing that ran me off on there. But I gave it up too. One thing that ran me off is we didn't have enough, what's her name from the original episode, his wife?
Oh, yeah. What was her name? She was strong as new rope.
Yeah. Well, I liked her.
Well, I like
Winona.
Yeah, I like both his girls.
Yeah, we didn't have any Winona.
Okay. Now, here, the 27 Club. You guys know what that is, right?
I do not.
That's when...
people that died at 27?
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to see what the 27 Club would look like if they were still alive based on AI. We will start first with one of the best-looking women in the history of entertainment.
Oh, Janis Joplin.
Wow. Yeah. Everybody gets old.
Damn, look at her hands.
Well, I mean, you play the guitar for that many years. See what your hands look like. Our guitar is pretty moldy, too.
She's falling asleep, too.
Yeah, Rockstar.
Boy, how bad do you think she smelled when they found her?
Yeah. How old would she be right now?
She would be 80.
80? Okay.
Let's go Kurt Cobain.
Imagine the arthritis Janis would have in between her two left fingers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a really small neck guitar, too.
Smoking that weed. Kurt Cobain looks like Edward H. Macy playing Kurt Cobain.
No, you know who he looks like? Who's the greaseball with the crossbow on Walking Dead?
Daryl. He's got his hair, yeah.
Yeah, Rockstar's right. We just assumed Kurt Cobain never changed a hairstyle.
Hey, little brother.
Okay, let's go. He would have been 56, by the way. Next one.
Amy Winehouse?
Yeah, she'd only be 40.
That's Amy Winehouse?
I think she'd have a few more wrinkles unless she was getting a little plastic, little Botox.
Why does Amy Winehouse have hair from the 1960s?
Because that was the way her hair was.
Yeah. Dude, I saw this. We went to this random bar downtown last night after Bud Light game night after dinner, and there was a chick. If you would have seen her, she was dressed, hairstyle, glasses, everything, like straight out of the 60s.
Yeah, very stylish, I think, right now.
Really?
Kelsey Ballerini does it a little bit every now and then. Yep.
I don't get Lance's.
I mean, it's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, Ballerini does it. So does.
By the way, Amy would be 40 years old.
Yeah. The girl with the big butt that's dating the former Stanford quarterback.
Oh, Lainey Wilson?
Yeah, she throws a little 60s look into it sometimes.
So country music stars are the ones that are doing the 60s.
Yeah, there's two of them right there.
You know what? This was actually a country music bar.
It was.
There you go.
There you go.
Makes sense now.
There you
man.
go.
It's really weird. Next one.
That is Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. He is still alive.
Yes.
That's actually Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, he looks like Morgan Freeman.
That is Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Were they related?
I guarantee Freeman was probably his grandfather. He's so old.
So Jimi Hendrix?
My God.
Wow.
Was Jimi Hendrix living on top of a
Jimmy
mountain
would
in
be
Kathmandu?
80, just like Janis Joplin. So damn, they died the same year.
Yeah.
Big year for Rolling Stone.
Like a month apart.
And finally,
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett did not die at age 27. That
kind of looks a little Bruce Dern-ish.
Yeah, I don't. Who is that?
What's your
People are strange.
This is Will Ferrell playing somebody.
Doyle from
L.A. Woman.
Doyle from
Roadhouse
Sling
Blues.
Blade. Sling Blade.
Yeah, Dwight Yoakam.
Dwight Yoakam.
It's not. It's actually Jim Morrison, who would be 79.
I could have looked at that the rest of the show and not guessed Jim Morrison.
Me too.
Okay.
The Doors version of Come Monday would be a great version, though.
Woman
Little
posted
organ in
this
it.
story on Reddit. She goes on to say, I hosted a couple of my friends from out of town for 3 nights, showed them around the city, offered breakfast, snacks, drinks, drove them around throughout the weekend. One friend paid for a few things. She bought me a soda. On our way to a hike, she bought discount muffins. She covered the $5 fee for the hike. I thought this was all nice and a helpful guest. When she left, suddenly I get a Venmo request to repay for the soda, muffins, and hiking fee. It was a total of around $6. This is after I hosted her and was very generous with my time, home, and food. I drove my car for 2 hours round trip. Never expected gas money. I just feel like it was a slap in the face. It is a slap in the face. Don't be friends with her anymore. That's the cheapest story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. Over a really small amount, too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even have time to reach out for $6.
Yeah, $6 on Venmo. That's a lot of effort for $6.
You can't buy a sandwich for $6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she got a soda, hiking fee, and a muffin for $6. That's a great deal.
Some discount muffins.
Yeah.
Hey,
Great
what
deal.
kind of muffin do you want? Blueberry? No, I want a discount muffin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mini muffins.
Give me something off the dollar rack.
Okay, we got a 77-year-old Floridian who starred in an award-winning documentary about the Sprawling Villages retirement community, is accused of trying to hawk $1,800 worth of black market erectile dysfunction drugs.
There you go.
Now, they say the biggest STDs reside not only in koala bears, but also retirement communities.
Right, one and the same.
Because these people like to bang.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is because of ED products. Now, this is Reggie Kinser. He had allegedly bought a slew of ED products, including a bunch of stuff I don't know, with the intent to sell them locally outside of the Sunshine State, according to federal court papers. Senior was featured alongside with his wife, Ann, in the 2021 film Some Kind of Heaven, which focused on 4 unconventional residents of America's largest retirement community.
He's going reverse bonds here. His head's getting smaller.
Well, he got good choppers, though.
He's happy as hell to be in the mugshot.
Yes, sir. Hey, my wife, who has never, to my knowledge, ever watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, is absolutely hooked on The Golden Bachelor. Watches every episode now. And she says it is hilarious. She's like, you are absolutely missing it. It is so incredibly awkward.
Don't you think it would have been better, though, if he had 20 and 30-year-olds?
I don't know, but she says you cannot imagine how awkward it is.
Well, Bree Chicken Fry, who I follow on social
Really?
platforms,
Yeah, you do?
she says
She
it
needs
makes
a new
her
name, by the
makes
way.
her cry every time.
Oh, I don't think Jennifer has cried yet. I think she's maybe cried from laughing.
Old people make her cry.
Yeah.
It's just sad sometimes.
Okay.
Because last chance at love for some of these
Well,
folks.
I mean, we're a little closer to the older bachelor than Bree Chicken Fried is.
Which nut do you own? I bet this a lot the last couple of weeks.
Left.
I would bet my right that after this show, he will not be with whoever he selects.
Interesting.
He's going to get hit up. Somebody's going to slide into his DMs. They're going to find out that he's made of money.
Yeah.
And then he is going to do a reversal.
I like how you think that man's got DMs.
I love the way you think the 70-year-old has DMs.
Hey, what's the great commercials with the dude trying "Don't be like your parents"?
Oh yeah, Geico, isn't it?
And that guy's like, "Hey, what's this DM? What does he say about the DMs? That's exciting."
Yeah, let's talk about sliding into DMs. That sounds fun.
You're not ready for that.
You're not ready for that.
I love those commercials.
Not all fruit emojis mean what you think they do.
We've got a Missouri high school teacher. Can't wait to see the picture here.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
She's the teacher or she's a senior?
All right, keep going.
Oh, no, she's a teacher.
Okay, not what I thought.
She has been placed on leave. Do you guys want to guess why?
Oh, if you're on leave as a high school female teacher, I know what's happening.
Yeah, but I don't think that would make it into trash, Jimmy. I mean, it happens so much, it's not really trash worthy at this point. I am going to say she shot and killed the principal.
I'm torn on this.
You're on administrative leave.
I'm torn on this.
Are we arrested or not? No,
she is actually on the website OnlyFans.
Yep, I saw this story. Yep.
Now, she was performing a little porn to supplement her salary. Brianna Kopich, 28, taught English at St. Clair High School, says her teaching days are probably over. She acknowledged she knew the risk. Now, Kopich told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch she was put on leave Wednesday after being interviewed by 2 administrators. Her access to school email and other software was suspended while the district investigates. She went on to say, quote, "It was like a kind of always like this cloud hanging over my head, like I never knew when I would be discovered. Then about 2 weeks ago, my husband and I were told that people were finding out about it, so I knew this day was coming." Now, Coppage said she joined OnlyFans website over the summer to supplement her salary as a second-year teacher. Taught English to freshmen and sophomores, made about $42,000 a year. She said she's earned an additional $8,000 to $10,000 a month performing on OnlyFans. You know what? This is actually going to go up now because of this story.
So more people will go and pay to watch her.
You guys have a problem with this?
Well, she said she knew the risks, so obviously there was something in her teaching contract or whatever that prohibited this type of behavior.
No, if you're a teacher, a high school teacher, and you know that there's a chance that
I know.
I guess her acknowledging the risk, but at the same time, the only person that's going to know she's on OnlyFans is somebody that's on OnlyFans. So I think that's kind of an equal thing. If you're a subscriber, what's the difference in being the performer?
If it gets out, like it has now the students who are in her class knows what she does. Maybe they weren't on there.
No, it's a distraction.
Now they can go and chase her down.
100%. But you know what? She will make so much more money now.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's probably, if it was all about money, which clearly it was, she'll make more there than she will teaching.
But I'm guessing this, and look, to each their own. Again, if I'm ever on jury duty, come in December, my religious beliefs, I don't like to judge
That's
people.
right. You're not a judgmental guy.
But I guarantee you her OnlyFans page is her and her husband having sex.
Okay. I don't think that was judgmental.
I'm just saying.
Are you locked in, Rockstar?
So it's, I mean, it's a weird situation. I understand why she was fired now, but she's going to cash in now.
Our picks are coming up in the final segment of our Pick 3. This show is being brought to you in part by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. If you want to go get a good steak tonight or this weekend to grill out, you can do that. Couple of shower thoughts as we head to break here. Tell us about New York Butcher.
So, yeah, it is steak night, and I cannot wait to get in and see my man Jim. Probably going to send him a text here in just a little bit. Stop by, pick up some of those steaks. Gina Korn, we saw her last night. Her and Don came out.
The team mom.
Team mom actually reached out to Taylor and said, Lance, a couple of months ago, how did you have, when you asked him about steaks, how did you get your steaks done? I said, look, just tell Jim you need them dusted. They put that incredible special seasoning on the steaks. All you got to do is drop it on the grill, maybe a little olive oil. Fantastic. But stop by the New York Butcher Shop. 2 great locations, the original Cahaba Heights, one on Highway 119 in Greystone, with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service.
Pritchaloff, that's your pick 3. You're 1 and 2. You get the middle one right. The other 2 are incorrect. But you play at your own risk. Buffalo Wild Wings, pick 3. Go there, nextroundlive.com. Click on the logo, Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll give you our picks when we come back. 2 shower thoughts, Rockstar, from our friends at The Hustle, which sends me a newsletter every morning. People who can successfully wear AirPods must have perfectly shaped ear holes. Does anybody wear them and they fall out as you run or work out?
The fake ones fall out. It's weird. The fake ones fall out. The Apple ones don't.
Yeah,
I don't
ones,
know why.
You've been to a hotel and you get the ones in the workout room and get on the treadmill. They never work.
Yeah. My right one falls out. My left one is always the same. I don't know what it is. The right one is I can be running and it'll keep slipping. And the last one, restaurant forks have been in more people's mouths than you can imagine.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, that's just one of the things you cannot think about in a restaurant.
That's why Jack Nicholson, as good as it gets, he brought his plastic flatware.
Yeah, I read that this morning, Rockstar, and I thought to myself, I may be the guy that starts taking my fork with me out of my car into restaurants.
Dude, and working in the service industry, when the silver would come out and there's still like lettuce and stuff, we had to wrap silver and you just take the food and stuff off of it.
There you go.
Hey, I might have some
breaking news.
Point spread breaking news for you.
Point spread breaking news is the Alabama line increases, is what I'm saying, because I've been talking about the Tide rolling all weekend long. Vegas is reacting to us on the show, and we'll give you our picks when we come back right here on TNR.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
The extra hours of sunshine are back on the clock, and that means it's time for golf at Timberline, a short drive from Birmingham or Montgomery. Go to timberlinegc.com to book your tee times, schedule a lesson, or just drop by and use the TrackMan technology on the driving range. The course is always fun, in great shape, and you can even become a member. Get all the details at timberlinegc.com. It's time to get your golf on with our friends at Timberline.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at New Life Art. Daniel A. Moore has completed his original full-color oil painting honoring Bryce Young, Alabama's 4th Heisman Trophy winner. This painting depicts the memorable Heisman-worthy go-ahead pinpoint pass to John Mechie in the corner of the end zone as the Tide dismantled the vaunted Georgia defense in the SEC championship game this past year. Use code TNR for 15% off. You can order online at danielmooreart.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
You could win a Dodge Challenger RT or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You could be a winner too. Come win your share during the Challenger RT and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings October 27th and 28th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Okay, the Pants Store is your game day headquarters. Alabama and Auburn game day polos, hats, and quarter zips. Choose from famous name brands like Gentile, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, and Taylor and Mick. You ladies, you don't have to look. You ladies, it's like, you ladies. ladies. You don't have to look any further than the Pants Store either. Pantstore.com. You get your skirts, your rompers, your clear bags, your booties, all right there. Pantstore.com, anywhere in America, are 6 great locations. Is there one in Auburn, Brownie?
I am told there is, Jim.
Yes, Crestline's 2, Hoover, Huntsville. How about Leeds? Yes.
Yeah, I am told there is.
And Tuscaloosa. Pantstore.com for those great folks there. Rockstar, you got the song ready to go? Hit it, man.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
It's brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Before LT tells us about B-dubs, let's get a standings update. There's the leaderboard. Dunaway has pulled into a tie at second place.
God, that's terrible.
With Ryan Brown. And look at LT. He's now above the Mendoza line.
If it wasn't for that stupid ass Mike Elko call, I would be 9-6 with back-to-back balls in the bucket.
I'm focusing everything on Brown Bandit picks. This is just secondary to me, so my 5 and 10 doesn't matter.
You basically drifted. Your focus is
Brown
gone.
Bandit's the most important
You're
thing.
like me in the 4th hour when we used to have a 4th hour.
Brown Bandit's the most important thing.
I'm here to tell you that if LT goes 0-3 this week, I will be tied with him.
Oh, that ain't happening.
Because I'm about to go 3-0.
Do you want the breaking news?
I do, right after LT tells us about our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings.
So 11 Central Alabama locations, including the new Buffalo Wild Wings Go location of Vestavia, #1 sports bar in Birmingham for over 20 years now. Wall-to-wall TVs, 26 sauces, seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, salads. Get into one of those great locations this weekend of Buffalo Wild Wings.
I confirmed this with Ferman because I immediately saw it at mybookie.ag. Ferman says the official lines in Vegas when he was on with us at 10 a.m., so an hour and 53 minutes ago, was a pick'em, Alabama, Texas A&M. He said anywhere in Vegas you could have gotten that game at a pick'em. At this moment right now, Alabama is favored 2.5. That is a significant amount of line movement, Lance. Would you say in an hour and 53 minutes from a pick'em to 2.5?
It is.
What do you read into
what has
it?
happened here is it has been confirmed that Jalen Milroe is going to play.
You think that's what it is?
And that's where this line movement has gone back and forth. Yeah, and
so Alabama up to a 2.5 point favorite.
So
now.
I've got 11 plays I'm giving out tomorrow, and I'm back and forth on this game too. I like A&M, but I'm doing a single unit play on this. I've got a 5 unit up. I've only had 1 5 unit the entire year. I've got a 5 unit tomorrow.
I started this last night. Get on the train.
He's riding
man.
the train.
Here's my picks this week.
Get him, Jimmy.
I'm so confident, Brown. I'm even going to I'm going to go from -1.
Wow.
I'm going to go ahead and give you the point now. -2.5.
You're going to play it at the current line.
I'll play the current line. #roll damn tide.
RDT.
Give me Alabama. Hook 'em. 5.5 is where it was this morning at mybookie.ag. I like Texas all the live long day. Dare I say.
Have you been riding on that railroad?
And then I'm going to go Rutgers plus 13.5. Wisconsin a little banged up. Quarterback's not playing well. Rutgers gets after it a little bit. When it comes defensively, I think they run the ball just enough. Low-scoring game. Rutgers inside the 13.5.
I've got good news. Well, it's 12.5 at mybookie.ag currently.
Oh, it's 13.5 this morning. So that has gone in a good direction for us.
12.5. Rutgers plus 12.5. Arizona plus the 21.5 against USC. USC obviously is a far better team than Arizona, but USC, especially with that little half right there, that could make a difference on the old backdoor. Backdoor cover there for Arizona late night if you want to stay up and watch that one on ESPN. Only Pac-12 game. You can see it on the Pac-12 network this weekend. And then North Carolina, they got Tez back. They're going to go win this for Tez, Dunaway.
Yeah. The Tasmanian Devil.
Guys, Tez is back. UNC minus the 9.5 against the Cuse in Chapel Hill, where Luganville will be. And he told me Monday on Ball when we taped it. What? 0-3? He told me Monday on Ball when we taped it there, Jimmy Dunaway, that even though you can see trees from inside the stadium, Kenan Stadium, surprisingly good game day atmosphere.
Oh, I can see that.
Well, you say you can see trees from inside the stadium, so it's not a real stadium.
North Carolina's a good fan base.
It's been an awesome story in the Pac-12 with Washington State and what they've been able to do, but it comes to an end against UCLA. Same thing with Kentucky. Georgia looked shaky last week. They've looked shaky in back-to-back conference games, and Iowa is awful. UCLA minus 3.5, Georgia minus 14.5, and one dog there, Purdue on the road in Kinnick.
I almost went Purdue.
This is going to be an awful loss for Iowa, too.
Hey, and if that game were in my backyard, what would I tell them?
Hold it down.
That's right. Don't tear up my grass.
Well, they will. There be nobody celebrating. Nobody's going to score.
Don't tear up my grass.
Okay, don't erase those because I have to get a picture as we keep count of that. So, again, developing stories. Richard, he likes UAB plus the 14.5 this weekend. Hunter says Oregon team total was a 5-unit play for him.
Oh, yeah, no, that was right. Yeah, Hunter's right. I've had 2 5 units. I did have UTSA.
Yeah, UTSA was the other one there. Nebraska and Colorado was a 5-unit play too, he thinks there, way back in the day. Can't remember on that one.
I don't think you had 5 units on Nebraska, Colorado. I know you did on Oregon.
Oregon,
yeah.
I do remember the Oregon one.
Yeah.
I thought 10 on Oregon. I thought it was,
well, it was 10. It was 10.
Yeah, that was a 10 unit.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
That was
so you got a 10 unit coming up this weekend?
Maybe. I feel really good about one game. John, if you play $1,000 on a game, if you get a 5-unit, you need to play $5,000.
That's right. Yeah. So basically, a 1 unit is
what you normally play.
What you would normally play.
Yeah.
Like you just
of my 11, I've got 4 that are. I've actually got 5 that are more than 1 units.
Like Dirty and I back in college, we played $25 bets.
Yeah.
That was
so that would be your 1 unit.
That would be 1 unit. It was a $25 bet.
I'm trying to sneak these in, but I've got one 11 o'clock play tomorrow.
You do?
Yep.
One 11 o'clock play tomorrow.
And we haven't even touched on it.
We hadn't even mentioned that game.
We might have mentioned it, but it was a hit and run.
It was a hit and run on it.
How high will this Bama line get, do you think? It is going from Pick'em to 2.5 in an hour and 53 minutes. Where will this be at kickoff?
If it gets to 3.5, then I'm going to take everything I said about A&M back, and it might.
Well, I'm just telling you, if Alabama wins, I want some people to Greg from Pell City, I didn't read them, but Greg from Pell City has been keeping my receipts to go Dion over in the chat room. If Alabama wins this game and they win it with ease, I want some apologies on Monday from Alabama fans in the chat room who think that I have tried to landmine my team this weekend.
Well, why would you possibly do that?
That's my team. That's my team.
Okay. You're not landmining them.
But if Alabama loses,
then I will come on here and apologize to the world.
Man, I just
dressed as Wednesday from the Addams Family.
I mean, we could have a MASH unit if Daniel Jones balls out, Saquon comes back, Eagles dominate the Rams, Braves are down 0-2.
How about Ferman?
Bama loses.
You really thought when you asked Ferman that question he was going to jump in with you too on both
not necessarily. I mean,
yeah.
I feel really good about the Rams and Dallas this week.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't see as clearly as Dunaway.
Not in week 6.
Not many people can.
Not week 6. Big Ten did release their schedule yesterday. For the next 5 years, Michigan will play at Washington and home games with Oregon and USC next year. USC will play either Michigan or Ohio State every year over the next 5 years. Made for TV games right there. No 9 a.m. games in the Big Ten out in the Pac-12 region.
Shouldn't be.
When they play at home games, they're going to be at a reasonable time out there. They protected only USC and UCLA and Oregon versus Washington, not any other of those Pac-12 teams. And Washington will set a record for non-Hawaii school will travel next year in 2024. It'll be broken the next year by Oregon, who will set a new record for travel by a team not named Hawaii.
I mean, it's 4 time zones.
That is the Big Ten schedule release from yesterday. A little overtime coming up. And don't forget to go play the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 right now at nextroundlive.com. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Time with our kickoff show. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway.
Respect the Process is back. I don't even know what week we're on, but we are back.
I'm just amazed that we're back.
I know. Each week they keep the door isn't locked.
There's not something that says closed or.
I did have to fight that elevator to open.
It'll happen.
I took the wrong. They told me once I got up here that I took the wrong elevator because you have to kind of pry the doors open.
That was a closet.
It was.
It was not an elevator.
I would explain a lot of things.
It would.
Okay, Alabama football. Mm-hmm. Are we back to accepting boring wins? Will we take anything we can get?
Right, we will. I won't speak for everybody else, but I will. And that was a boring game only because of what happened in the span of a minute. That's a 17-10 ball game.
Mm-hmm.
There's about 4 minutes to go in the first half or less, when all of a sudden you look up and 17-10, third down and a couple. Bama gets a procedure penalty on Amari Niblack. Back them up 5, now 3rd and 7. Throw it to Amari Niblack. First down, boom. From there, score, pick, touchdown again. And instead of it being potentially 17-17 at half, it is 31-10. And people started looking to watch, going, oh, it's 10 o'clock. But, you know, if we go home now, we can make early church tonight.
That's right.
So they were getting out of there, and it was a lot less loud. And I thought Bama played really, really well. They would have been nice to add a touchdown in the second half, but Will Reichard's automatic right now. He's fantastic. So you never let them feel like they had hope, even when they scored to start the second half, to make it 31-17. Put them away, got points, and just kept them at arm's distance the rest of the way.
This feels like kind of the first time since they played Texas that people aren't talking about Alabama this week and what's wrong. They're more focused on the next game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's exactly right. And it's two things. One is Bama's gotten a lot fixed. Bama did a lot of things well. They look like Alabama. Also, people understand A&M's good. Mm-hmm. And you're able to talk about the matchup itself and what happens if both play well, strength versus strength, all of those type things. And a lot of that tends to favor A&M right now, but I don't think Alabama's going to fail to show up. I think they'll be ready to go and excited to play on Saturday.
It is going to be interesting to see what the offense does. Having watched Milroe this past week, I mean, he was 10 of 12. Yeah. Obviously, they did not throw the ball out when you look at that line.
Right.
A&M seemingly would stack the box to prevent them from continuing to have success in the run game. So it will be interesting to see what Tommy Rees is able to dial up this week.
Well, it's two things. It's the scheme part of it, but it's also, can you protect Jalen when you do have to throw? And you're going to have to throw, because A&M is one of the best in the country in putting pressures on the quarterback. But Alabama's, unfortunately, stats-wise, one of the worst in terms of protecting the quarterback. They've got to give him some time, because you're going to have to throw it at least a little bit to take pressure off the run game, which is getting better and better, but you've got to be able to take some pressure off of it. And that's going to be a huge question mark in this game.
It's going to be a homecoming for Milroe, though. I mean, having grown up just down the street from College Station and Katy, Texas. So I'm guessing that he will probably have family, and it will be, and having originally committed to Texas. I mean, he's going to be back in his home state and be the starting quarterback for the University of Alabama.
And that's special for all those kids. I don't care where home is. When you go back and you play in front of the home folks, there's a lot on you. There's a lot of pressure. You know, a couple of picks against Texas in that game, but a lot of other things that he did really well. And we all know that it only took about a week and a half later before coaches realized, okay, we know what he's not, but we also know what the other guys are not. Right. And that's better than him. So staying with Milroe, trying to get things better in terms of play calling towards his strengths, and also better decision-making from him. We saw some signs of that. He made one throw that he got away with. It was one back across his body. I look back on the replay on television, and there were 3 DBs, or 3 defenders in the area. I think of Niblack, who made the catch. Maybe it wasn't him, but made the grab. And I'm going, holy cow, that's not one they recommend, because it's back across his body, 3 defenders, 1 receiver.
It's not how it was drawn up.
But it's a perfect throw. It's a tough throw, and it was right on the money. Hit him right in the numbers, and that had to be a lift for his confidence. I know it was a lift for mine from a confidence standpoint in it, because that's a big-time throw. It's not one down the field. We've seen that. Those are great. But this is one with a defender hanging on him, had to make the throw with all sorts of stuff going on around him, and had to really thread a needle, and he did. That was good to see.
Another massive issue that no one wants to be talking about this at this point in the season, but
why are you bringing it up?
When you take a snap in the ear hole.
Well, that'll do it. Are we talking personal life? What's the deal?
We could.
Okay.
That's a whole other show.
Sorry.
But Milroe, the other day when on Monday's press conference, Saban took a good 7 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Take a deep breath.
Before he responded. Milroe, when asked, took ownership of it, which is a great leader and a great quality that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I mean, something's got to give at this point.
Well, and I will say, communicating there is very tough with the bells and all that stuff. But you still can't. It still can't happen. There were 2 plays, and I think it was that one and maybe the punt just prior to that drive, where Bama was really fortunate to get the football back. That could have gone very different, and that game maybe looks different, certainly at halftime, if that doesn't go Bama's way, or one or both of those don't go Bama's way. So that being said, they got to get it fixed, because it's not going to be any less loud, you know, with all the howdies and giggums that you'll get in College Station this weekend. No bells, but all the other stuff. It'll be loud. There's 100,000. They're swaying. It's a tough place.
Well, and it's Kyle Field compared to playing in Starkville, where they had 61,000.
Yeah.
Now you're going to Kyle Field, so there are going to be 40,000 more people there. And it's a weird place with a lot of weird traditions. You got your overalls, you got your military uniforms, which I'm not sure which branch of the service they're in to begin with. The 12th man. It's just, it's a weird place.
You left off the milkmen that they try to pass off as cheerleaders, but you're taking me down this road, and you don't have to go there. I do.
I know.
Now they'll be coming after me, but I don't care. Yeah, it's different. They've got a lot of traditions.
It's a tough place to play. That's the bottom line.
I had a great line I'm going to use.
Go ahead.
When they're not rolling tape, remind me to come back to my line. They have a lot of traditions. No, it's okay. I've got to go there and survive.
Fine.
But it's great. You're going to want to hear it. So anyway, a lot of traditions, but it comes down to who's making plays. And Bama has done a better job of that historically in this series, unless Johnny Manziel is on the field, and that only happened once. Now, they're not bad at quarterback right now. Johnson's a good player, even though he's a backup.
But the interesting thing about him, he's a backup.
He's a former starter.
He's a former starter that transferred, was the backup, is now playing. So he's got some SEC experience. He's cool under center.
He's a starting quarterback. He just happened to not be the first one out there before. You're right, and he's good. He almost made a couple of big mistakes in the game against Arkansas, didn't, and survived it. Probably going to be better this week. Bama's got their hands full, but it is loud. It's a tough environment. I know this started off talking about the snaps, but communication for Alabama is going to be tough. But they got to make it tough for A&M's offense too, and they're going to have to do it without noise. They got to find a way to just get there and create havoc in the backfield.
What's interesting about this game is it's not the biggest game in the country. It's not even the biggest game in Texas this week, because you've got Oklahoma and Texas coming into the conference next year.
Right.
A lot of eyes are going to be on that. I think to further the legitimacy of Texas, it doesn't hurt Alabama necessarily for Texas to keep winning. But the interesting thing between A&M and Alabama, both 4-1 teams, this one, the winner of this one controls their destiny.
They do.
And gives them a chance to get back to the SEC championship.
You're right. And obviously, and I know you know this, it may not be the biggest game in the state. It's not going to matter to either side, and it's not going to affect preparation. It's not going to affect noise level. It's not going to affect execution. It will affect some of the conversation by people that do what we do for a living. It will still be, I think, when all's said and done, maybe the best game that takes place. It's got that type of chance. I hope it doesn't go down to the last play like it did last year. If it does, I hope we get the same result, that Alabama finds a way to win and we can get out of here again. And it would be fun to see Alabama get that, especially on the road. But I said it 2 or 3 times already. They got their hands full. A&M's good. But I think Alabama's best is good enough to get them.
Define the relationship between Saban and Jimbo Fisher right now.
Yeah, we're not confined to FCC.
No, we're not.
Okay. Jimbo is a heck of a coach. I remember when he was Terry Bowden's quarterback at Samford. I was a kid, teenager, who was excited that Samford was starting their program back. My brother had played at Samford in the early 70s, one of my earliest memories of that. So it was a big deal that Samford had brought the program back and brought a guy in that was capable of winning.
Yeah.
And Jimbo was great. Great assistant. Really good assistant under Nick Saban. There are a lot of guys in the coaching business that will tell you, because they've told me, Jimbo Fisher owes his career to Nick Saban. If Nick Saban doesn't give Jimbo Fisher an opportunity, I think it was at LSU, he was out of coaching. Whatever staff he was on, they were gone. He didn't have a job. Nick Saban gave him an opportunity. And Jimbo's a heck of a coach. But he's also one that, from a lot of people that know him far better than I, feel like he's extremely jealous and is known to pout and whine more than most. And if he feels like he's not getting the attention that he deserves, he will be a guy that whines and pouts a little more. We've seen that. And that doesn't have anything to do with the outcome of the game.
Right.
But it does affect a lot of the conversation leading up to it. It's led to some, at least on the surface, hard feelings between the two. It's a shame because Jimbo helped Nick Saban win some games as an assistant. Nick Saban did far more for him, though. And from people that were in the room at the SEC head coaches meeting the first time they were together after the
back and forth that next round's Jim Dunaway was the MC for, and Nate Oates was right there, and Coach said what he said, and then Jimbo, against the direct orders of the league commissioner and his athletic director, went into a press conference and ran his mouth and made it where people that weren't even on Nick Saban's side took Nick Saban's side just because of the way Jimbo handled it. I say all of that to say Nick Saban went into that coaches meeting and was the bigger man, apologized, shook his hand, and handled it the way a man should. That's not always the way Jimbo Fisher has handled things. And that's why it's so easy for Jimbo Fisher to be a villain. That's interesting. Because you also look at this game and you're thinking, okay, they're 4-1. They're unranked. I would think that there's also a little chip on their shoulder, and you also you mix in Bobby Petrino.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of elements to this game.
You know it's volatile when Petrino's down the list of people that you talk about that are involved.
It's because he's getting his resume together.
That's exactly
Always
right.
applying.
Or a hatchet.
Yeah.
For Jimbo's back. He's been known to do that. So here's what I would say in regards to all of that. This is setting up perfectly. Not saying it'll happen. I'm just saying, though, it is setting up for A&M to play like absolute garbage. Because the way Jimbo's teams have done in the past, when you give up on them, they tend to play really well. When you start to really believe in them, such as the Miami game earlier in the year, something goes haywire. People were expecting, I was one of them, if Bama had scored 90 on Texas A&M last year and had the ball across midfield with a minute to go, I'd have been begging Nick Saban to go hurry up right there. Everybody wanted, they didn't want blood, they wanted the plasma, they wanted any and everything that was attached to it. They wanted more than blood, and were very fortunate to come out with just a win. I think this is a year where people feel like A&M's got a real chance, and I hope they lay an egg. I think they may. We'll see.
But what a lot of fans saw last week, for Alabama fans, I should say, saw last week, was what they wanted to see when they saw angry Saban.
Yeah.
They finally saw angry Saban
They
again.
saw angry Saban, but here's the only thing I would say about that. Well, there's two things I'll say about it. One, saw. I got a feeling angry Saban was there on the sidelines the previous couple of weeks or more when the moment called for it. But you know this from being in the TV business. It's a matter of when does the camera get switched? When does the director switch to a shot of Saban? Is he losing his mind, or has he already gotten back under control by the time they go to a shot of him? That's a real thing, because people are watching at home determining their opinion of what Coach Saban's attitude and behavior is based solely on when the director says, you know, take 3, camera 3, or whatever the terminology is. That's what they see. The other part of that is, early in the year, Nick Saban knew the psyche of this team probably couldn't handle being gnawed on the way he is known for gnawing, okay? Especially the quarterbacks. So Jalen Milroe in week 1, 2, maybe even week 3, he's in there at quarterback. He makes a mistake. Nick Saban jumps all over him. The first thing probably in Jalen Milroe's mind is, uh-oh, I'm coming out.
Right.
Uh-oh, I'm losing my job. Uh-oh, Ty Simpson's getting loose. It's human nature. That's the way it would be. It's clear now this is Jalen Milroe's team. This is Jalen Milroe's job. Now you can go gnaw on him. Now you can go coach him and not worry that he's worried about, is the other shoe going to drop? Just go play. Listen to what I'm saying. Get better.
Well, and you'd said that in another show when we were talking about it's not always the right time to jump on them.
Right.
Sometimes they need love. They need to be loved. And
Right.
then other times, this is the time to go and chew somebody's ass out.
Yeah, and there's nobody better at it than him. And he does enjoy being able to brag on Miss Terry for getting it right.
But and you made a great point, and I've told other people this, that when you said, when the world's against Alabama, he's the first one to stand up and say, I got you.
Right.
And interesting, do you think, and there's a couple schools of thought in it, losing early, and at this point it looks like losing early is beneficial to Alabama versus losing late in the season?
Obviously, you got more time to recover, recoup, however you want to say it. But at the same time now, let's not forget, Bama lost, but they lost to what may be the best team in the country right now. Texas may be playing the best football in the nation to date. They also have played Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Ole Miss showed against LSU they're not bad. They showed they can score a lot of points, and Bama did a great job shutting them down. Mississippi State's going to get better, but Mississippi State's not an elite team, not in this league, not right now under Zach Arnett. So the better teams are coming. The best team maybe still left on the schedule, the regular season schedule, is Saturday in College Station. So you've already played Texas. You know how great they are. Now you got Texas A&M. That's your next really tough one. We don't really know about Tennessee. We don't really know about LSU, other than both are going to be good. And dear Lord, Auburn at Auburn at the end of the year, forget what and who they've been.
Weird things happen there too.
I've seen them. So let's not. Bama's shown improvement. Bama's won 2 league games, and they've done it against. They've done it in a fashion that shows definite improvement as to who they are.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting sized for another championship ring just yet, even if they win Saturday against A&M. But there's no doubt this is the best we have seen the Tide face since the Longhorns.
And I get no one has the crystal ball except for the guys back there who prognosticate and Lance's locks.
That's right. Lance has got it figured out.
They know obviously a lot more than we do. But watching teams as we've gone week to week now, Georgia doesn't look unbeatable. Georgia looks beatable at times. I think everyone is it's starting to settle down now a little bit more, and the pieces of the puzzle are slowly starting to come in play. But I think Alabama fans can't help but, as you said, with Texas, the best thing for them is for Texas to keep winning.
I agree. Bama potentially can be as good as anybody there is.
You're right.
Potentially, already what we've seen from Alabama, they could lose 2 to 3 more games.
Well, and play up or down to the level of competition.
They can do that.
Unfortunate.
And there were times that you would look at Alabama and go, nobody's going to stay within 3 touchdowns of them. Okay, but those are historically great teams too. You're foolish to think that's going to be year in and year out. And it does go back to what we talked about before. Kelly, some of these guys that were backups at Alabama the last few years are starters at other schools now.
Right.
Everybody's dealing with that.
That's a good point.
Except
for Dabo.
Except for Dabo. And here's, to his point, to that point, I was about to go with one of his players. DJ Ungalale, God, I got that right.
That's amazing. Wow.
The best part is that I said DJ Ungalale and didn't go yeehaw, yeehaw afterwards. Yeah, kind of like Speedy Gonzalez. Anyway, DJ, now at Oregon State, doing a really good job there. Mm-hmm. He's an example. They've got a good quarterback at Clemson, but a guy who some were touting as a Heisman candidate, couldn't win the job on his own campus. Now he's a starter in a pretty good league.
Right.
For one more year. It's a good league. This one, this is an indication of what you see, in my opinion, almost all over the country. Your frontline guys may be about as good as they've ever been, but your twos are now guys that would have been threes and are going to be great players because that's all Alabama signs anymore, but they're just not as developed. They're not as experienced as they've been. So instead of having an experienced backup to move in and take over for somebody that's banged up, now you got a kid that's a freshman or maybe a quarter step down in talent from what you had in years past.
Getting back to A&M, how would you grade them in the SEC since they've been in the league now for
overall?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel pretty comfortable saying B to B minus.
Yeah.
They've always been respectable. They've always been top half. But they've never been elite. And that's not a knock on them. I mean, it's just reality of who they are. Are they a bad program? Absolutely not. Are they in the same breath with Texas and Alabama, Oklahoma? No, they're not. The record shows that. But it's not a bad record. Doesn't mean that they can't have years where they are. It doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to be better. Doesn't mean they made a bad hire in Jimbo Fisher to come in. The guy won a national championship. Seemed like he was the guy. Did you overpay? Absolutely you did. But somebody else would have paid. LSU would have paid. But LSU wouldn't have gotten as good a coach as they've got right now. Regardless of what happens, I think Brian Kelly's a better coach than Jimbo Fisher. It's interesting to see how this is all going to play out for Jimbo. But for Texas A&M, if they don't get the brass ring, or in this case the SEC championship ring this year, you tell me when it's going to come. Because here comes Texas, here comes Oklahoma.
Right.
Both look like they're going to be running into the league rather than limping into the SEC. Bama's not going anywhere. Georgia, Auburn, Florida will be better. Tennessee's the best that they've been in a long time, even though they're not phenomenal. South Carolina's better. By the way, you're probably going to ultimately get Clemson and either Florida State or Clemson and whoever coming into the league sooner rather than later. It's going to get easier. A&M better step through quick because that window's closing for them.
Well, they play the role of the pissed off little brother very well.
Are you going to go to College Station and cover for me?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
They won't recognize. You're fine.
They won't recognize
They're
me.
fine.
You're exactly
They're
right.
Fine. Traditionally, Nick Saban has been, I'm not going to say hard to reach, but his access has been limited to members of the media and other things. When he agreed to do his weekly segment on the Pat McAfee show, I remember I was talking to my dad and my husband, and they couldn't believe it. And I said, he's not trying to appeal to you. This is by no means an appeal to really anyone over, I'd say maybe the age of 40. This has to be a strategic move on his part to adapt or die.
His part or Jimmy Sexton's, neither of which is a bad move, but either way, it's for Nick Saban to do what you're talking about, and that is to appeal to a younger demographic, show that he's still got it. He does. Nick Saban can. It's showing a side of him that really is him. It's just normally not shown outside of a recruiting visit.
Yeah.
Or certain more private circles.
Right.
But people that are around him know him. They know absolutely. He can carry. If he couldn't carry on that type of conversation that you got to carry on with McAfee, he wouldn't be doing that. He wouldn't put himself in that spot if he didn't know he could manage it. Even though he knows he needs to be in that circle, he's comfortable in that circle.
I have no doubt.
Or capable in that circle.
Well, if you're capable and comfortable talking to 18-year-olds,
no doubt.
And and I'm going to say, 16 through 24.
It always has been. I know we're talking 15, 20 years ago when he did The Blind Side, the Michael Orr story.
Because I love that quote when the mom was like, I find him
very attractive,
very attractive, very charming, very handsome. It was one of those words that you're just,
Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, if Sandra Bullock ever, even in a script, referred to me as attractive, if you don't think I'd have that on a continuous loop all the time. Anyway.
They're like, just go ahead. That's as good as it's going to get, folks.
That's as good.
George Costanza has left the building.
What was my point before this? Nick Saban told the producers and directors, they had this script, and he looked at it, and then he goes,
I'm going to make some notes.
Why don't you just let me do this like I would with a recruit? Why don't you just let me talk to him the way I would to a recruit, and you keep your little script, and that's what they did. And when you see that,
if it works,
it's him.
Yeah,
it's him, and it gives people the real insight to it. And he knew that if he did it that way, that Sandra Bullock would go, I find him very attractive.
It's an interesting.
That alone makes him a legend as far as I'm concerned. Not Sandra Bullock, it was Leanne Toohey, but still.
Because along those lines, when McAfee joined Game Day, my husband's like, I don't get it. And I was like, it's not meant for you to get.
That's
right. I was like, you're already watching and you'll continue watching.
Ain't talking to you.
They are trying to bring in a younger demographic.
Yeah.
And it truly is part of the adapt or die. And we go back to talking about Dabo Swinney is not going to, at this point, not going to jump in on the transfer portal. If you're going to continue to run a successful football program, there are certain things that you're going to have to do.
You do. You don't have, and here's the thing, and again, it's part of why Nick Saban is the best ever, certainly in this generation. He understands how to adapt. Nick Saban hadn't changed for a minute.
Got a birthday coming up this month, I know.
He does. He hasn't changed for a minute who he is and what he believes. The manner in which you arrive at that, though, can change and adapt. And he is. He's not given up on what he thinks it takes to win. But how you arrive at that, yeah, it can change. I'll give you a prime example. I would have been knocked blind by my parents if I had asked why when they told me to do something.
Yes.
And my older son knew. I didn't really have a good answer, but that's how I was taught. That's what he knew.
Yeah.
He didn't ask why. He understands now that kids and players often do ask the question why. And it's not challenging his authority. It's not doubting his authority. It is more of an analytical approach, and truly they want to understand. He's allowed himself to understand that and adapt that. And that's one of the reasons why he's as successful as he is.
Right. They don't see it not as a sign of disrespect,
Right.
but just the way it has evolved.
Right. It is part of it. And again, it's all in how you say it.
Yeah.
But he is amazing, because again, what is at his core of who he is and what he believes, none of that's changed. But the path to it can change a little bit, and that's why ultimately the destination is still the same, and that's in a championship more often than not.
I've got a theory that we'll talk about. We'll talk in another show about.
Okay.
I've got a theory about him.
You mean we're going to get another show?
I'm going to keep showing up
It's
each
always
week,
a miracle.
even if there's not a camera. I'm going to
miracle.
keep showing up each week and just sit here and talk. That's
cool.
My family has said I probably have done that for years. Where do you see the game best from? Do you see it from the sideline, the press box, or on a TV or a monitor?
Oh, press box.
Press box?
Yeah, because I can let my eyes go where I want them to go.
I'm just curious because you've called, worked, and seen games from every angle.
I have, yeah. We did games off TV monitors. With it being in Fayetteville, and I'm sitting in Bryant-Denny.
What about baseball? Do you see baseball best?
I really would struggle to call a game off TV monitor for baseball.
Okay.
Exclusively off the monitor. Too many moving pieces.
Yeah.
Too many moving pieces. Now, to do it justice, I've got to be able to see the field.
Yeah.
Football's the same way. Basketball's the same way. Sidelines for football, it's really important, I think, to have someone down there.
Yeah.
Because they can give you a perspective, especially if it's a former player. They can give you a perspective that just means so much. That I can't give ever, but especially from the booth. I think another piece of that is they can give you attitude. They can actually look into the eyes of some guys and see mood and relay that, especially for radio. But for me to be able to see the big picture, to describe it from a play-by-play perspective, there's nothing like sitting on the 50 or close to it, where you've got the vantage point,
best seats in
where
the
you
house.
can see it. It is great. I've also done them, from the corner of the end zone. For instance, we're at the Jerry World. You're in Dallas.
Dallas, yeah.
You're in Dallas, where the home radio booth is, where Brad Sham, the longtime voice of the Cowboys, operates from. It's a phenomenal booth. It's a suite.
I don't doubt it.
It's great to have, but it's positioned, I think, either with the pylon or actually in the end zone.
Okay.
You're so far down. Ordinarily, that's horrible. Except, as you well know, they've got a video board that's 20 yards high and runs from the 20-yard line to the 20-yard line.
It looks like you've got it.
And when I'm doing play-by-play, I'm cheating. I'm looking at both. So I can see it off the board because it's so clear.
Yeah.
And I can see things, especially on the other end of the field, better than I can right in front of me. But I'm able to get a big field perspective, but also look up top and get the picture there. I'm never touching the binoculars unless there's somebody injured, and for whatever reason they don't have the camera on them. But man, that's where you really get the best of both worlds.
Do you have a favorite place to call games from? Outside of Bryant-Denny, which I know is your home base.
It is.
And it has to be one of your favorite. But would you have a favorite stadium?
It would be AT&T Stadium. It'd be Jerry World, just because of the video board, atmosphere, setup. It's fantastic.
Best press box food.
Ooh,
I have a
Lord.
favorite, and I would literally go hungry a day before I got down to Baton Rouge because I would eat my weight in bread pudding.
I understand. Tell you what, they fed us well in Starkville last week because the capper, it was, I think we had some barbecue. No, I take that back. There we had chicken Alfredo.
Oh, okay.
Chicken Alfredo, well done. But the capper was the ice cream from the dairy on campus at Mississippi State, and there's like 7 different flavors in those freezer, those cups like you got in elementary school.
Oh yeah,
including the wooden sticks.
Oh,
you had about 7 different flavors to pick from, and in the cooler. And
I'm in.
Yeah, I've told you the Eddie Fogler line on here, right? The former Wake Forest, Georgia Tech coach.
I don't think
he
so.
goes, "You show me a room full of poorly dressed men and a free meal, and I'll show you a media gathering."
That's exactly it.
That's Eddie Fogler. Men or women. Usually the women are better dressed.
God, I mean,
yeah, but that was Eddie's line 20 years ago, and I said, "Wow, Eddie, what a shock that you didn't have a better relationship with the media." But it was a spot-on comment, especially when you and I got started.
Oh my gosh,
it's
that drove me nuts. Are you kidding? People be up there like they hadn't eaten once. They was like a 3-legged cat. They were just
still is.
Oh my gosh, that's probably the only time
Hogs at the trough, man.
I ever lost my mind on like
a different media member
on satellite truck operators, or when they were too busy fighting for the chipwich or their ice cream cone, and I missed my window or I missed my live shot because they were up in the press box because they were trying to get the warm cookies. I was like, really? Was it good? Was it worth it? Was it worth it?
It's all about the warm cookies.
But I'll tell you, no, I always liked Baton Rouge. That was one of my favorite.
Not bad.
Some good bread pudding. Okay, so 2:30 Saturday.
2:30 Saturday, 11:30 airtime on Crimson Tide Sports Network. Podcast for me on my social media platforms. ChrisStewartOnline.com is the website, but you'll find the links there. But at C Stewart Sports for X or Twitter X or whatever. But also, we make sure we refeed this, and hope you'll
all the things
take this and share it.
Show your friends and family.
Do all that stuff.
Before the game, after the game. But no, travel safe. You leave in
Friday morning, 6 a.m. out of Birmingham.
Woo!
Oh, you gotta love that.
Nice and early.
Oh yeah.
It could be driving. It could be worse.
Could be driving. Have done that.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that. So flying to Houston with Tom Stipe and Butch Owens, and then we will drive on up to College Station and be there for the weekend. Yeah. Hopefully enjoying some good brisket on Friday and or Saturday night after a win.
Because they do like pep rallies and bonfires and all that? They do a lot
of stuff. They have yell practice.
Yeah, they have yell. That's right.
They do have a bonfire, but the Milkmen will be leading yell practice on Friday night at midnight.
Whew.
Unnerving.
Boy, if I'd gone there, I would have had to interrupt Bible study to go to yell practice on a Friday night at midnight, and then quickly get back to Scripture, because that's what I would do on a Friday night. As always,
I ain't buying that as far as never mind.
We want to thank Chris Stewart for stopping by, and we need to give him one good one before the weekend starts.
Well, roll tide and God help you. How about that?
Hey, exactly. So travel safe.
Thank you.
We will see you back here. Thanks for watching Respect the Process, and we'll see you all next week.